Chapter 734. Lu Kuan looked at Chun Fenghua's expression and sighed in his heart. He had already found the path to the second level and was planning to look for Chun Fenghua. He did not expect that this guy and the other two disciples would deliver themselves to his doorstep. When Lu Kuan was in the lava lake, he connected with Du and Soul and found out that other demonic cultivators had come here. He also found out that it was Chun Fenghua and the other two with his golden eye ability. With a thought, he ordered the demon crocodile king to deal with them and told it to spare Chun Fenghua's life. Under the tyrannical power of Lu Kuan's muscles, the demon crocodile king didn't dare to disobey. It just so happened that it needed to vent its depression. Lu Kuan had three intentions. First, he wanted to test the range of the blood-refining sex oath stone. The demon crocodile king wasn't his spirit beast, so he didn't use the soul-controlling spell on it. It attacked the disciples of the blood-refining sect on its own accord and had nothing to do with Lu Kuan. In other words, even if the demon crocodile king killed the disciples of the blood-refining sect, the oath stone wouldn't activate. Moreover, when Lu Kuan ordered the demon crocodile king, he only said to deal with the three disciples of the blood-refining sect. He didn't say to kill them. In the end, the demon crocodile king bit off the heads of the two disciples because of its tyrannical nature. In the end, as Lu Kuan expected, the oath stone in the depths of his soul didn't react at all. Obviously, it couldn't sense such a borderline situation. In addition to testing the oath stone, Chun Fenghua was a disciple of the blood-refining sect that the Black Fiend Demon Soul came in contact with many years ago. Relying on a secret technique that the Black Fiend Demon Soul gave her, her cultivation speed soared in the past 20 years and directly entered the fake core realm. Naturally, he couldn't let others know. His last intention was to intimidate Chun Fenghua. "Senior, you are?" Chun Fenghua said with difficulty after a while. Lu Kuan's mouth curled up. He revealed his true appearance, so Chun Fenghua naturally couldn't recognize that this senior was Zhang Yiyang, who was also a blood devil. Lu Kuan patted the head of the fiend Molten Crocodile King as it walked over and said, "The blood refining school really has a lot of resources. I don't even know what species this little crocodile is, but you actually called it out. Fiend Molten Crocodile. This name is really appropriate." Chun Fenghua swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The fiendish molten crocodile that had previously beaten them to a pulp was now lying obediently beside this burly man. Its thick tail was even wagging nonstop, making it look like a lackey. Senior, I just happened to see it in the jade slips in the sect." Chun Fenghua thought of the extremely ordinary devil stone from before. With a light blow, it dispersed more than half of his biggest trump card, the green demon divine light, which meant that this burly man was definitely above the bearing essence stage. The jade pendant on his waist was a one-time use life-saving artifact refined by the Chan clan's elders. It contained core formation level demonic energy. As long as he stimulated it slightly, a layer of azure demonic divine light would appear, which would be able to defend against an early core formation level attack. But just now, he was actually beaten to such a state by a devil stone. If someone told him that the person in front of him was a nascent soul cultivator, he would believe it. Chun Fenghua cautiously said, "I don't know what senior needs from me." Lu Kuan slightly raised the corner of his mouth and said, "More than 20 years ago, my subordinate asked you about the blood magic art. Do you still remember?" Chun Fenghua coughed and said, "I naturally remember what that female senior said. But senior should also know that the blood-refining sect has the Oath Stone. If the sect's secret is revealed, I'll be injured by the Oath Stone's restriction and my soul will be destroyed. Even if someone asks about other cultivation techniques, I can't tell them." Lu Kuan meaningfully said, "Boy, do you think that the secret technique you use to cultivate demonic energy has no after effects? Soon, you will find that the bottleneck to the bearing essence stage is much bigger than you think." Chun Fenghua's expression slightly changed. He had previously asked someone to try this secret technique. His cultivation had indeed progressed rapidly, and he hadn't found any abnormalities even after several years. But according to this person in front of him, it would make the breakthrough more difficult. Or was this person just trying to scare him? "I know you don't believe me. When the secret realm is over, you can go back and try to break through. I will continue to arrange for people to contact you. As for the oath stone you are worried about, I have a solution." When Chun Fenghua heard these words, he didn't take the latter half seriously, but he understood the meaning of the first half. He hesitated and said, "Senior means to let me go?" Lu Kuan lightly said, "Boy, you definitely won't believe my one-sided words. Naturally, you have to experience it for yourself." Chun Fenghua dryly laughed and bowed. "Then, Junior will take his leave." After saying this, Chun Fenghua immediately used the light body technique on himself and quickly ran down the mountain. There was still about half of the Azure Demon Spirit light left outside his body. It was enough to support him down the mountain. At this time, in addition to being nervous, he was also full of doubts. How did this person enter the Yi Yuan secret realm? Wasn't it impossible for those above the bearing essence stage to enter? This person knew the secret technique to accelerate demonic energy cultivation. Was he really the senior of the female bearing essence stage, Cultivator, who gave him the secret technique? However, this person's purpose was very clear. He was after the blood-refining sex blood demon art. When I go back, I will find a way to let the old ancestor check my body. Even if this guy's secret technique has hidden dangers, with the old ancestor's nascent soul stage cultivation, he will definitely find clues. Chun Fenghua thought in his heart. Although this person's strength was terrifying, he naturally wouldn't be ruthless when he needed his help. Maybe he could get some benefits through the other party's purpose. Thinking back, it was because he pretended to be polite and got the secret technique to assist demonic energy cultivation. Then, with the rich demonic energy in the Blood Demon Mountain range, he could quickly enter the false core stage and become the first person in the Blood Demon clan. This person's secret technique is mysterious. He is also a person with a great background. I will contact him again later and cheat a few more secret techniques. Maybe this will be a great opportunity for me. Chun Fenghua's eyes flickered. He had a plan in his heart. As for the secret technique that Lu Kuan said to solve the Oath Stone, he didn't believe it at all. If there was such a method, the secret techniques of the several demonic sects wouldn't be so secretive. They would have been exposed long ago. Lu Kuan looked at Chun Fenghua's departing figure and sneered in his heart. He knew that Chun Fenghua hid very deeply in the sect and wasn't a character that was easy to deal with. Naturally, he needed to let him understand that without his help, he couldn't break through to the core formation stage. As for whether or not Chun Fenghua would reveal this matter, Lu Kuan was still somewhat confident. If Chun Fenghua revealed that someone had threatened him and was waiting for an opportunity to obtain the demonic blood technique, at the very least, the secret technique that could speed up one's cultivation would definitely be revealed. He definitely wouldn't be willing to do so. If the nascent soul stage cultivator in charge of the blood refining sect knew, he would definitely interrogate Chun Fenghua strictly and even take the opportunity to suppress the Chun family's power. Lu Kuan would use Zhang Yang's identity to get close to Chun Fenghua. This was an important clue for him to obtain the blood demon technique for the core formation stage. After dealing with Chun Fenghua's matter, Lu Kuan casually put away the few storage pouches beside the lava stream and walked towards the broken dragon stone. Duan curiously looked at the fiendish molten crocodile behind Lu Kuan and said, "Master, is this fiendish molten crocodile your new spirit pet?" Lu Kuan shook his head and said, "This fiendish molten crocodile obviously relies on a special environment to grow. Other places don't have such a place with such fiendish molten crocodile. It's useless for me to keep it. Its overall strength is far inferior to Xiao Jin's. In another half a day, Xiao Jin's demonic qi should reach its peak. It should be 50% more than an ordinary peak 4th level demonic beast." The fiendish molten crocodile king followed behind Lu Kuan. When it heard that Lu Kuan wouldn't keep it as a spirit pet, it was completely relieved. It really couldn't accept that the leader of its clan had suddenly become a human's underling. "Duan, I've finished exploring the lava lake. After a while, I'll enter the second layer. You should take advantage of your opportunities on the first layer. After the secret realm is over, I'll arrange for my disciples to meet you." As Lu Kuan spoke, he threw out 5 storage pouches and said, "I don't need these little guys' things. Take them. The higher your cultivation, the more help you will be to me. There are also a few Thunderfall talismans that I refined. They should be enough to protect yourself in the secret realm." Duin beamed with joy as he received the storage pouches. He immediately felt that it was good to follow such a master. He didn't have to take any risks, and he gained a lot of benefits. Lu Kuan looked at the fiendish molten crocodile beside him and said with a smile, "Little crocodile, your clansmen have been staying in the lava underground all day. They're almost rusty. You can let them out to move around." Chapter 735. Several days later, even more rogue cultivators arrived at the forbidden area of the volcano. They had all heard about the chaotic battle between the three great demon sects, but they couldn't suppress their curiosity and carefully headed towards the volcano in the middle. But when they discovered the high temperature inside the volcano, most of them retreated. Only a few decent demonic cultivators joined forces and entered the volcano. At this time, the demonic cultivators that still dared to explore the volcano all had some trump cards in their hands. They were also proficient in secret techniques that allowed them to resist the high temperature. Besides these rogue cultivators, there were also disciples of the three great demon sects in front of them. After these people entered the volcano, they tacitly stopped fighting and went up the mountain from the east and west. But what made them feel strange was that besides a few demon stones, they didn't find anything valuable in this double-peaked demon volcano that attracted a large amount of demonic chi. Even if there were demon stones, after being divided among so many people, there weren't many left. This continued until the demonic cultivators of the three great sects arrived at the lava lake halfway up the mountain. The three great demon sects were clearly separated. The blood-refining sect was on the east side of the lava lake, while the Seven Fiends sect and the Inyang Holy Church were on the west side. Although they couldn't enter the lava lake, they relied on their own probing methods to discover that there were a large number of demon stones in the lava lake. There were at least tens of thousands of them. But just as they were thinking about how to obtain the demon stones, over 30 alligator demonic beasts with terrifying auras suddenly emerged from the originally quiet lava lake. There were many experienced and knowledgeable disciples of the three great demon sects who recognized the demonic molten alligators as vicious beasts that were like fish in water in the lava lake. They immediately extinguished their desire to fight. In this extremely high temperature, the power of divine sense was greatly restricted. The three great demon sects couldn't use their secret techniques at all. In a passive defensive situation, they were naturally beaten to a pulp by these demonic molten alligators. Some of the disciples of the three great demon sects died. The remaining people dejectedly fled down the mountain, encountering the second wave of rogue cultivators that came up the mountain. In the depths of the double-peaked demon volcano, in the lair of the demonic molten alligators, Lu Kuan sat cross-legged in front of a silver light curtain. There were many storage bags at his feet, and he held a jade slip in his hand, reading it with relish. Xiao Jin, on the other hand, was not far from Lu Kuan. He was holding a shining mining hoe with his monkey claws, and he was digging at the magic stone ground with a sorrowful expression. At this moment, the demonic aura on the little monkey's body had increased by a large amount. It was 50% more than an ordinary peak rank 4 demonic beast. The density of this demonic aura was comparable to its previous demonic spiritual force. Around its body, there was also a layer of black spiritual light that stuck close to its fur. Xiao Jin had cultivated the body tempering demonic art to the viscera forging stage. With a protective shield formed around his body and his mortal body's defense, he was able to completely resist the high temperatures here. Even though Xiao Jin's strength had recovered to its peak, with its strength, there were no other changes to the incomparably solid magic stone ground other than a few pebbles popping out. Therefore, Xiao Jin had a bitter expression on its face. The demonic molten alligator king was lying beside Lu Kuan, watching the little monkey's movements with a sorrowful expression. Xiao Jin didn't destroy the magic stone ground here because he didn't have enough strength. If Lu Kuan made a move, the demonic molten alligator king didn't believe that a mere magic stone ground could withstand the terrifying brute force of this demon. Thinking that his lair would be dug 3 feet underground, The demonic molten alligator king felt sad. The only thing it could do now was to pray that this terrifying monster would enter the silver restriction as soon as possible. I didn't expect the demonic moonlight art to be so unique. It uses the power of yin and yang to devour the essence of flesh. It's very exquisite. It's a pity that after the flesh essence enters the cultivator's body, it can't be used at all. It can only optimize the blood vessels and meridians. Lukuin put down the jade slip in his hand and sighed. Previously, he sent the demonic molten alligator out to deal with the demonic cultivators because he wanted to borrow the demonic beast's hand to kill the disciples of the 3 demonic sects and obtain some storage pouches for him. Bai Jie and Feng Hao, the blood refining sect, were his main targets. As for the blood demon Su Zihong, Lukuin didn't dare to take the risk to deal with this disciple who was valued by a late nascent soul stage demonic cultivator. Therefore, after Bai Jie and Feng Hao died, the blood refining sect successfully retreated. Bai Jie and Feng Hao's storage pouches were respectfully handed over to Lukuin by the demonic molten alligator. The demonic moonlight art that he just read was found in Feng Hao's storage pouch. The reason why Bai Jie was able to burst out with the battle strength of a core formation stage cultivator was also because of this art. Logically speaking, he didn't need to pay attention to this demonic art that harvested yin to replenish yang. However, Lukuin recalled that when he was harmed by Shun Mengyao, the vitality-devouring art absorbed the essence of his flesh and blood, causing his physique cultivation realm to drop. It was also the effect of the vitality-devouring art that allowed him to recultivate his body. He used the Imperial Thunder Body refinement art to return to the Foundation establishment stage. His foundation was incomparably strong. Even if he didn't use the divine power of the connecting arms, his strength would still surpass that of a physique cultivator of the same realm. Therefore, Lukuin had been thinking about whether a physique cultivator could spontaneously condense the essence of his flesh and blood, thereby lowering the realm of his body. At the same time, the essence of his flesh and blood could be preserved and absorbed after his body was recultivated. If there was such a method, a physique cultivator with high aptitude could try to recultivate his body before and after the foundation establishment stage, which was the time when he refined his flesh and bones. This would lay a solid foundation for his future combat strength, just like Lukuin did in the past. At the same time, he could use his body to recultivate and increase his chances of breaking through. Recultivating his flesh and blood was equivalent to refining and purifying the Fa Li of an ordinary immortal cultivator. When Ye Wufeng recultivated his Fa Li during the Foundation establishment stage and resolved the hidden danger of his hidden spirit root, his pure Fa Li even spontaneously condensed into a crystal. Core formation was almost a certainty. If a physique cultivator could recultivate his flesh and blood during the tempered body stage, would it also increase his chances of breaking through to the treasure bone stage? Therefore, after Lukuin understood the dark moonlight demonic art, he obtained it and referred to the method of absorbing the essence of his flesh and blood to see if he could find a way to condense the essence of his flesh and blood. In his guess, after condensing the essence of his flesh and blood, his entire body would become like a dried corpse. His body would be tempered from the beginning, and after the realm of his body was restored, he would reabsorb the previously condensed essence of his flesh and blood, achieving the effect of helping him break through the bottleneck. Of course, at this time, even if he referred to the dark moonlight demonic art, this kind of physique cultivator's recultivation method, he only had a trace of a clue. Shaking his head, Lukuin shot several rays of demonic light into the storage bag beside him. 3 gray iron balls emitting a faint murderous aura appeared in front of him. They were covered with complex patterns and appeared somewhat mysterious. This ashen ball of the 7 Evil sect is quite interesting. It uses the murderous aura and refining materials to refine a self-exploding Dharma artifact. Not only can it pollute Dharma artifacts, but it also has a special defensive effect against all kinds of attacks. Lukuin clearly remembered that at the Ouyang clan's castle, when the Supreme Devil launched a sneak attack on a 7 Evil's disciple, his shimming 3 extreme blades were blocked by the Ashen Ball. Before the Foundation establishment stage disciples of the blood refining sect entered the secret territory, Elder Qian taught them the 6 extreme demonic formation, which allowed Lu Kuan to learn some of the magical uses of the murderous aura. Since Lu Kuan entered the immortal cultivation world, countless cultivators of the same level had died at his hands. His murderous aura was incomparably abundant, so naturally, he had to make good use of it. Although the storage pouches of the disciples of the Seven Evil sect did not contain the method to refine the Ashen Fiend Ball, Lu Kuan was a top master artificer. With the Ashen Fiend Balls in his possession, he would naturally have some understanding of this self-destructing artifact after dissecting it and studying it. Chapter 736. In the second level of the Yi Yuan secret realm, when the demonic chi phenomenon appeared in the first level, there was also an earth-shattering change. It caused the ground to crack and many caves and underground caverns in the mountains to be exposed. In an area of the second level that was surrounded by restriction, the ground cracked open and a large amount of black smoke mixed with dense demonic chi spewed out from it. Inside this huge crack was a land of lava. There was boiling lava everywhere. On the rock walls on both sides of the lava crack, there was still a large amount of cooled lava left. It was pitch black and the rock walls were dyed black. It seemed that there had been a violent eruption of lava here. Only a few enormous gray rocks could be seen in the lava crevice, forming many rocky floors in the lava pool. On top of the rocks, there were a dozen fiendish molten crocodiles lying lazily on top of them. Their fist-sized nostrils breathed in the hot air that was mixed with the smell of sulfur. Most of these fiendish molten crocodiles were about 20 feet long. They were extremely huge and had a layer of red, rock-like armor on their bodies. They looked extremely ferocious. In addition to the fiendish molten crocodiles on the gray rocks, there were also several thick tails that appeared from time to time in the lava. These swaying tails stirred up a lot of lava waves. Obviously, there were also many fiendish molten crocodiles in the lava. At the very center of this lava fissure was a cave entrance formed by countless gray rocks. It was about a dozen feet in diameter, and a large amount of hot black smoke mixed with sulfur was spewing out from it. The pitch-black cave entrance gave people a feeling of extreme danger. On this day, 3 figures appeared in the air outside the lava crack. The leader was a middle-aged man with a burly figure and dark skin. His eyes were as big as copper bells, and he had a square face and big ears. He looked ferocious. His body was wrapped in a layer of faint black demonic light and exuded an extremely dense demonic chi pressure. He was a demonic cultivator at the peak of the core formation realm. The second person was a beautiful young woman. She wore a dark red robe that was covered with flaming runes. Her exquisite body was faintly discernible under the robe. In her bright eyes, there was a faint reflection of a black flame, making her look incomparably evil. The young woman's demonic power was very vigorous. It seemed that she had reached the peak of the late core formation stage and was only one step away from the false nascent soul stage. The third person was wearing a black mask that covered half of his face. Even his left eye was hidden inside, revealing only his right eye with a green pupil. This man's aura was strange and erratic, and there was a layer of dark green spirit light surrounding his body. Although his demonic power was only at the level of a late core formation cultivator, the other two seemed to be somewhat afraid of him and kept a distance from him. The dark-skinned middle-aged man looked at the scorching lava fissure and sighed with emotion. After a month, we've finally passed through a large number of restrictions and arrived here. If I didn't know the exact location of the lava catacombs, I might not have been able to find it after the collapse of the mystic realm. He clicked his tongue and said, I didn't expect the lava catacombs to be affected by the changes in the mystic realm. It's revealed itself directly, saving us a lot of trouble. The young woman looked at the middle of the fissure and saw the entrance covered by gray rocks. She frowned and said, Nyo Sengoku, the lava fissure is filled with level 3 and level 4 molten demon crocodiles. Those level 5 and above are still in the deeper parts of the cave. For us who want to enter the lava catacombs, the difficulty is not reduced at all. It turned out that this dark-skinned, burly man was Nyo Sengoku, Nyo Peng, whom Lu Kuan had met at the Monolith City auction. He didn't know where this guy got the 1 yuan jade pendant and entered the mystic realm. Nyo Sengoku shook his head and said, Lung Fian, You're the famous Devil Flame Fairy of the Devil Flame sect. Can't you see that after the lava catacombs exploded, the length of the narrow passageway in the cave has been reduced by more than half? The temperature inside has dropped a lot. After this is done, it will be easier for us to escape. After all, Brother Shah and I are not as proficient in flame divine abilities as you are. The longer we stay in the cave, the more demonic power we consume. The masked man also said, Fairy Lung, the shorter the passageway, the more confident I am in sending the soul-absorbing incense inside. After all, the high temperature is a great counter to the poisons of my sacred poison sect. The masked man surnamed Shah and the young woman were core formation cultivators of the sacred poison sect and the Devil Flame sect respectively. One core formation cultivator from each of the 5 sects and 3 clans had entered the mystic realm. When Lung Fian, the female cultivator of the Devil Flame sect, heard that the two were afraid of the high temperature, the corners of her mouth curled up slightly and said, "It seems that the changes in the mystic realm have helped us a lot." She then looked at the masked man and said, "Fellow Taoist Shah, whether our plan can be realized or not will depend on your soul-absorbing incense." The masked man smiled and said, "Fairy Lung, don't worry. The soul-absorbing incense has been infused with your Devil Flame essence. The molten fiend crocodile is extremely attractive. In addition, half of the lava catacombs are exposed to the air. It won't be a problem to lure the high-grade fiend crocodile out." Then, the masked man said proudly, "The soul-absorbing incense is the top hallucinogenic poison of my sacred poison sect, second only to the 3 great holy poisons. Even a level 7 fiend crocodile will be confused for at least 15 minutes if it continues to smell the soul-absorbing incense." When Nyo Sengoku heard this, he was a little unwilling and said, "Fairy Lung, fellow Taoist Shah, are we really not going to try to eliminate the high-grade fiend crocodile? This is the molten fiend crocodile. Its armor is made of top-grade materials. It can be refined into a top-grade armor artifact. Moreover, the demonic core of the fiend crocodile can be refined into an elixir that can increase one's cultivation base. Fairy Lung, aren't you tempted?" Lung Fian raised her eyebrows. She obviously understood what Nyo Sengoku meant. While the fiend crocodile was confused, they should use their strongest attack to kill these fiend crocodile. The value of the corpse of a top-grade demonic beast was immeasurable. The masked man shook his head and said, "Nyo Sengoku, according to your information, there are at least 5 high-grade fiend crocodiles in the lava catacombs. With the molten fiend crocodile's reputation, even if the 3 of us attack with all our strength, we can only kill a level 5 fiend crocodile at most. The defense of a level 6 or level 7 fiend crocodile is amazing. It's not something that we can kill in one hit. Moreover, my soul-absorbing incense will awaken the fiend crocodile as long as there are demonic power and divine sense fluctuations in the outside world. If we let the level 6 or level 7 fiend crocodile return to the lava catacombs, our efforts will be in vain. These guys have amazing combat power in the lava environment." Hearing the masked man's words, Nyo Sengoku sighed and said, "Let's stick to the original plan and lure the high-grade fiend crocodile out of the lava catacombs. We will sneak into the depths of the lava catacombs. Let's not talk about the various top-grade fire attribute materials that may be there. The pure, true demonic water is something that we must get." Chapter 737. Very quickly, the masked man and Lung Fian regained their composure. Lung Fian glanced at Nyo Sengoku and said, "Nyo Sengoku, this time, you took the initiative to find us. Now that we're outside the lava cavern, are you sure you've told us all the information about the lava cavern?" Hearing this, the masked man also stared straight at Nyo Sengoku. Long before the opening of the Yuan Mystery Realm, Nyo Sengoku had taken the initiative to find him. It was also Nyo Sengoku who revealed that there was pure, true demonic water in the lava cavern. Otherwise, he would not have agreed so easily to this old ghost. After all, Nyo Sengoku's reputation was not small outside. He had killed many core formation powerhouses. He knew that he was no match for him. If old Demon Ox was hiding something from them and had other arrangements in the underground cavern, they would be in grave danger if old Demon Ox decided to make things difficult for them. Loose cultivators of the Devil Dao were most adept at assassinating cultivators of the same level. Neo Sengoku looked at the two's expressions and naturally understood their misgivings. His expression did not change. A demonic light flashed in his hand, and a jade slip with an ancient aura appeared. He presented it in front of the two and said indifferently, "This jade slip contains information about the lava catacombs. This jade slip is made from Luan jade, and the contents inside cannot be forcefully changed. You can also easily tell how old it is. Once you see it, you will know if I, old Neo, am lying." Hearing this, Lung Fian and the masked man immediately probed with their divine senses. They discovered that Neo Sengoku was not lying. This jade slip was really made of Luan jade. It seemed to be about 600 years old. Jade slips made of this kind of material could not only show the jade slip's age. As long as the information inside was changed, there would be obvious traces on the Luan jade. Even if a nascent soul cultivator changed it, there would be traces left behind. Neo Sengoku snorted coldly and said, "This jade slip was obtained by me after I killed a strong enemy. This fellow's elder entered the Yi Yuan secret realm 600 years ago and discovered the molten cave. Inside the jade slip is the situation in the lava catacombs. In the depths of the catacombs, there is a true demon pool water. It is surrounded by a profound formation. The function of this formation is to purify a portion of true demon water every 300 years. Lung Fian and the masked man also saw the relevant content in the jade slip. They looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Neo Sengoku continued. That old man was not strong enough and did not have the means to deal with the molten fiend crocodile, so he could only return empty-handed. But from his description, there was a lot of water of the true devil, and it was not used by the molten fiend crocodile." Lung Fian returned the jade slip to Neo Sengoku and said slowly, "Neo Sengoku, don't be offended. After confirming the real situation in the catacombs and adding the temporary soul restriction, the two of us will dare to truly cooperate with you." Neo Sengoku waved his hand and said, "Let's not talk too much nonsense. Let's get started quickly. The three great demon sects have deep roots. If they also know about this place, then it will be troublesome." As he spoke, a demonic light flashed in his hand, and a lifelike black cheetah appeared in front of the three of them. It looked like it was assembled from many black materials, and runic formations could be seen at the joints. When the masked man saw this black cheetah, he revealed a curious expression. "This is the mechanical puppet you were talking about? This thing can carry my soul-absorbing incense to lure the molten fiend crocodile?" Neo Sengoku said with certainty, "I obtained this mechanical puppet by chance. It has lost all of its attacking functions, but its speed is extremely fast. It is almost the same as an early-stage core formation cultivator. It's a pity that only ancient cultivators knew how to create this mechanical puppet. It is said that there are mechanical puppets comparable to those in a nascent soul stage. I don't know if that is true." Neo Sengoku shook his head again and said, "This cheetah mechanical puppet is lifeless. It is powered by spirit stones. The material of its body is quite special. Other than its defensive power, it can also isolate its aura." The masked man said thoughtfully, "So we only need to put the soul-absorbing incense into the mechanical puppet's mouth. When it reaches the entrance of the underground cave, it will leak the scent of the soul-absorbing incense, and it will attract the high-level fiend crocodile." Neo Sengoku nodded and said, "That's right. The mechanical puppet's defensive power is not weak. It can withstand high temperatures. The only problem is the low-level fiend crocodile below. We will have to rely on Fairy Lung's methods." Lung Fian's eyes revealed some confidence. She said, "Don't worry. My sex concealment spell is more than enough to fool these flaming fiend beasts." "Very good. Then we will proceed according to the plan." The masked man took out a pill wrapped in white wax and put it into the cheetah mechanical puppet's mouth. Then, Lung Fian's hands formed a mysterious spell, and the black flames in her eyes shone brightly. Rays of dark red, demonic light shot out, and the cheetah mechanical puppet disappeared into the air at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was hidden by an unknown concealment spell. Then, Neo Sengoku and the other two looked at each other. They also concealed their bodies and disappeared into the air. Under the control of Nyo Sengoku, the invisible mechanical puppet flew toward the lava crack. The surrounding low-level fiend molten crocodiles did not seem to be able to sense the mechanical puppet. They were still resting on the rocks. Soon, the mechanical puppet arrived at the cave in the middle of the underground cave. The teeth in its mouth gently knocked, and the white wax outside the pill broke. Suddenly, a strange smell spread out. The surrounding low-level fiend molten crocodiles seemed to have sensed something. Many of them raised their heads and looked around. As for the fiend crocodiles in the lava, they did not discover anything. Roar! After a few breaths of time, a few roars suddenly came from the cave. These roars seemed to be mixed with a sense of desire. The invisible mechanical puppet at the entrance of the cave did not hesitate. It quickly shot out of the lava crack. Not long after it left, huge fiend molten crocodiles rushed out of the cave one after another. They identified the direction and flew in the direction of the mechanical puppet. These were all high-level fiend crocodiles that were more than 30 feet long. The largest among them was even 50 feet in size, like a small mountain. The cave entrance was only big enough for one beast to pass through. After these high-level fiend crocodiles appeared, the other fiend crocodiles trembled slightly. They lowered their ferocious heads to show respect to their king. After the 7 high-level fiend crocodiles flew out of the cave entrance, there was no other movement in the cave. It seemed that there were only 7 high-level fiend crocodiles in there. After another 10 breaths of time, the concealed Nyo Sengoku and the other 2 carefully landed at the entrance of the cave. They used their divine senses to explore the cave and then walked in. I didn't expect there to be 7 high-level fiend crocodiles. One of them is even at the peak of the 7th level. Fortunately, we lured them out. If we were to attack by force, we wouldn't have any chance of winning even if we had twice the number of people. Nyo Sengoku felt the scorching heat in the cave and said with some relief. Although he was not afraid of the high temperature with his perfected core formation realm cultivation, his combat power would still be weakened. The masked man from the Holy Poison sect was even more passive. The high temperature was the nemesis of most of his poisons. Only Lung Fian from the Devil Flame sect could use her full strength in the lava cave. Even under the high temperature, she could increase her strength. Hey, that's a Devil Flame mushroom. That's a bright young rock. What a big piece. Not good. The mechanical puppet has been caught. From now on, we only have 15 minutes. The 3 of them found a lot of precious materials in the tunnel. However, after hearing Nyo Sengoku's reminder, they restrained themselves and only collected the fire attribute materials. They did not spend time picking the herbs and quickly moved deeper into the cave. Chapter 738. Although there was a jade scroll that introduced the situation of the catacombs, because of the collapse of the secret territory, the catacombs produced a lava eruption, and the landscape changed greatly. Nyo Sengoku and the others walked quickly in a rather spacious catacombs tunnel. The walls of the tunnel were made of gray rocks. With their knowledge, they naturally recognized the dragon-breaking stone, but they did not know the use of the dragon-breaking stone for refining weapons. It was also because they recognized the dragon-breaking stone tunnel that they determined the location of their current location. They were all overjoyed. There was a clear record in the Jade Scroll. After the dragon-breaking stone tunnel ended, they would arrive at the deepest part of the catacombs, where the pure, true demon water was. The dragon-breaking stone material was hard and had no effect on transmitting any kind of spiritual power or demonic power. The rock tunnel it formed could naturally block divine sense. Everyone was anxious. After another 70 or 80 breaths of time, their eyes suddenly opened. What entered their field of vision was a vast space, about 100 feet in size. There were 2 stone paths in the catacombs, forming a cross. In the 4 directions of the catacombs, which were the areas not covered by the cross paths, were lava pools. It seemed that the temperature of the lava here was much higher than outside. Nyo Sengoku and the others could also keenly sense that the lava pools around the catacombs were constantly emitting dense demonic chi. And this demonic chi was all gushing towards the center of the catacombs. There was a very eye-catching silver and gray light curtain. Through the light curtain, the three of them could completely see the scene inside. On the left side of the light curtain, there was a square pool of 10 feet in length and width. It was filled with dark purple mist. Around the square pool, there were all kinds of complicated runes. Many lines were connected to the right side of the pool. There was a very delicate white jade basin, half filled with pure black liquid. Purple-black demonic chi, true demon chi. That's right, that's the true demon pool water. In the jade basin next to it, is it the pure, true demon water? There's so much. Everyone was directly attracted by the scene in the light curtain. Even without the guidance of the Jade Scroll, they could determine that what appeared in front of them was the dream of all demonic cultivators. Nyo Sengoku coughed lightly and said, "The two of you, time is of the essence. Let's think of a way to deal with the restriction in front of us." Back then, that old guy just came here without any probing. Lung Fian said eagerly, "The environment here is very suitable for my fiery devil blade. Let me try this restrictive light screen." Nyo Sengoku and the masked man naturally had no objections. The demonic energy within Lung Fian's body surged, and a dark red crescent moon blade flew out from her body. This fiery magic blade was translucent, and there were faint black flames within it. It was her natal magic weapon. The Devil Flame Fairy, who was renowned in the Western continent, made a hand seal, and a pitch-black flame immediately surged out of the fiery devil blade. It seemed to sense its surroundings, and with a joyful cry, it blasted toward the light screen of the restriction in front of it. Boom! The fiery devil blade hit the silver-gray barrier. At the same time, a pitch-black devil flame gushed out of the devil blade and wrapped up the barrier. Lung Fian seemed to sense something, and her face was a little ugly. She recalled the fiery devil blade and let it float in front of her. After the light screen in front of them was attacked, there was no change. The other two's expressions changed upon seeing this. Although Lung Fian hadn't used her full strength in that attack, she had still used her devilish flame ability, so her attack power wasn't weak at all. However, the light barrier didn't show any signs of weakening. Lung Fian frowned and said, "Nyo Sengoku, this restriction is very powerful. It seems to be far beyond the level of the core formation stage. Even if the barrier can withstand the attack of the nascent soul stage, under the effect of my attack, it is impossible for it to remain unchanged." Nyo Sengoku murmured, "No wonder the molten demon crocodile did not covet the pure water of the true demon. It turns out that there is such a powerful restriction protecting it, but it shouldn't be." Nyo Sengoku couldn't help but walk around in place, as if he was troubled by something. The masked man also said, "It is indeed a little strange. As far as I know, every time in the secret territory, there are demonic cultivators who have obtained the water of the true demon. Not everyone obtained it from the cave of the ancient demonic cultivators." Lung Fian's eyes lit up. "Fellow San means that there are demonic cultivators who have obtained the pure water of the true demon from the restriction in front of us?" The masked man nodded and said, "There are some records in our sect that there are many true demon pools in the secret territory. Along with the true demon pools, there is purified water of the true demon. The three demonic sects are very powerful. Every time after the secret territory, there are demonic cultivators who enter the nascent soul stage. They must know the location of one or two true demon pools and have a way to penetrate this restriction light screen." Lung Fian murmured, "What kind of method is it?" "Because of old demon pang and the demonic blood technique, the blood refining sect is the strongest of the three sects, but the other two sects' comprehensive strength is not much different, so this method must be shared by the three sections." Hearing this, Nyo Sengoku, who was pacing around in place, had a flash of lightning in his mind. He said with a happy face, "Fellow Taoists, the strength of this restriction is beyond the level of the nascent soul stage. In the secret territory, we also encountered a restriction light screen that was also unable to be broken by nascent soul stage cultivators. We also passed through that restriction together." Lung Fian and the masked man blurted out after being reminded, "EU and Jade pendant." Nyo Sengoku laughed and said, "Yes, although this restriction light screen looks different from the one outside, the silver luster inside is very similar. We can try using the EU and Jade pendant. Lung Fian hesitated and said, but what if it is like the restriction outside the secret territory and teleports us away? Neo Sengoku had already taken out the EU and Jade pendant. He walked forward and said, Hee, if you're not assured, let me try. As he spoke, Old Demon Bull began to pour demonic power into the EU Jade pendant. Not long after, the EU Jade pendant blossomed with a gentle white light. Old Demon Bull's expression was filled with anticipation as he extended the white light forward. As a result, the silver-gray restriction immediately changed. After the restriction light screen came into contact with the EU Jade pendant, it immediately dissipated by half, but then there were no other changes. It really works. The three people showed joy. Let's attack again and see. Lung Fian shot out her fiery devil blade and bombarded the weakened light screen. However, although the restriction light was weakened, it was still helpless for core formation stage cultivators like them. Seeing this scene, the masked man's exposed green eyes lit up. Will we need 2 EU and Jade pendants to work together? Fellow Taoist Sand is right. A quarter of an hour has passed. Fellow Taoist Sand, you and I break the restriction together. After we get the water of the true devil, we still have time to escape. But just as the masked man took out the EU Jade pendant, the lava pool in the corner of the cave suddenly began to boil. This startled everyone, who was nervous, and they all stopped what they were doing and looked at the lava pool vigilantly. As the lava in the lava pool boiled, a figure seemed to appear under the lava and was swimming toward the rocks at the edge of the pool. It may be a fiery molten crocodile. Strike first and gain the upper hand. Lung Fian narrowed her eyes. The fiery devil blade in front of her emitted an amazing pressure and shot toward the black figure. Her magic weapon was not afraid of lava. Even if it entered the lava, its power would not be reduced in the slightest. It was very suitable for her to attack first. With a loud bang, the lava pool was hit by the power of the fiery devil blade, and a large amount of lava splashed out. Then, Neo Sengoku and the other 2 people seemed to have seen something incredible. Their pupils dilated and their mouths were slightly open. They looked in the direction of the lava pool in disbelief. At the edge of the lava pool, a thick arm stretched out from the lava. There was still some lava on it. Although it looked similar to the arm of an ordinary human, everyone could clearly feel a majestic pressure on it. This arm also faintly emitted a treasure light. It seemed to be a top magic weapon. Lung Fian's fiery devil blade was tightly grasped by the thick palm at the front of the arm. The sharp blade only cut the skin on the finger. It seemed to be helpless against the palm. Chapter 739. What kind of monster is this? Lung Fian's face was filled with shock. The fiery devil blade was her natal magic artifact. She was well aware of just how powerful that attack was. Only a core formation stage cultivator's defensive magic artifact will be able to withstand her fiery devil blade's attack. But what was this hand in front of her? Not only did it grab the fiery devil blade with its bare hands, she also felt a terrifying force acting on the devil blade, making her almost unable to control her natal magic weapon. Lung Fian gritted her teeth, and the fiery devil blade exploded with a ball of scorching black devil flame. The explosive power of the flame even blasted a large amount of lava away. The hand seemed to not have expected such a change and loosened its grip, allowing the devil blade to be recalled. With such defense and power, could it be a high-level bronze armor corpse? The 3 of them had the same thought and immediately thought of the bronze armor corpse. Only a bronze armored corpse that was comparable to a late core formation cultivator would have such a strong physical body. But the scene that followed shattered their guesses. Another thick arm emerged from the lava and pressed its bare arms against the gray rock beside the pool. Then, a figure jumped out of the lava and landed on ground. Impossible, Lung Fian exclaimed, as if she could not believe what she saw. At this moment, a burly man wearing a dark red inner armor and shorts appeared in front of them. The inner armor and shorts looked like a type of armor with extremely strong defensive power. There were countless runes carved on it, and its aura seemed to be somewhat similar to that of the fiery lava crocodile. The man had a bald head and a big face. His bare limbs were full of explosive muscles, and there was a faint glow of treasure. His eyes emitted a faint golden light as he looked at the surrounding scene with interest. It seemed that he did not put the 3 core formation cultivators in front of him in his eyes. Nyo Sengoku's face darkened. The moment he saw this person, he did not know why, but a faint sense of danger emerged in his heart. He thought of the scene where this person caught the magic weapon with his bare hands. His mind moved slightly, and a flat gray round shield automatically appeared outside of his body and surrounded him. Lung Fian and the masked man also immediately took defensive measures. Lung Fian's dark red robe emitted a bright light, and a red and black flame wrapped around her. It was a special kind of fire shield, and it looked like its defense was not low. As for the masked man, he took out an iron ball. Green mist rose from it and surrounded his body. While the 3 of them prepared their defenses, they also locked onto their offensive magic weapons with their divine sense and looked at the bald man in front of them with great vigilance. The bald man seemed to have understood the situation in the cave. Looking at the 3 people who were on guard, he revealed his white teeth and said, "I am Zhang Tianbiao. Nice to meet you, fellow Taoists." The man who emerged from the lava was naturally Lu Kuan. He had stayed in the first level of the secret realm for nearly a month. During this time, he had refined some magic weapons and dug out a large number of devil stones. Finally, he had used a large number of spirit stones to recover his thunder attribute magic power. Only then did he teleport out through the Yuan Jade pendant. Unexpectedly, after the teleportation, he appeared in the hot lava. At this time, at the bottom of the lava pool behind him, there was a teleportation array, which seemed to be specially prepared for the molten demon crocodile. The temperature of the lava here was much higher than the temperature of the first level. If Lu Kuan had not refined the demon crocodile armor that had been refined by the demon chi for many years into an inner armor and shorts, he was afraid that there would be some trouble. Unexpectedly, before he could even get out of the lava pool, he felt an extremely powerful attack coming at him. Lu Kuan, who had entered the middle stage of the Bone Treasure Realm, was naturally not afraid. He secretly urged the magic power in his body to activate the defensive power of the Bone Treasure Realm in his palm. He grabbed the attacking demon blade. According to the power of magic weapons, Lu Kuan's palm bone could be regarded as a defensive magic weapon. Naturally, it could resist the attack of magic weapons. Coupled with his enormous strength, even a magic weapon in the later stage of the core formation stage could only bow down in his palm. After jumping out of the lava, Lu Kuan didn't see a single high-grade molten fiend crocodile. What appeared in front of him were 3 core formation stage cultivators with surging demonic chi. The leader was Old Demon Bull, whom Lu Kuan had seen at the Monolith City's auction. In addition to these demon cultivators, he saw the silver-gray restriction in the middle at a glance. He also saw the true demon pool and the jade basin inside. After hearing Lu Kuan's introduction, Nyo Sengoku said in a low voice, "Fellow Zhang, you look a little unfamiliar. May I know which fellow cultivator from the 3 sects you are?" Lu Kuan smiled and said, "I am the same as the 3 of you. I am also a loose cultivator. However, I was transported here by an unknown restriction. May I ask where this place is?" Nyo Sengoku and the other 2 maintained their defensive methods. While looking at Lu Kuan vigilantly, they quickly communicated with each other using their divine senses. Lung Fian said, "This person is definitely not a loose cultivator." This time, a total of 14 core formation stage cultivators came from the West Continent. There are only 6 loose cultivators. He is not among them. His face is so unfamiliar. It seems that there is no such person among the core formation stage powerhouses of the 3 sections. The masked man said he could also be a demon cultivator who is proficient in the breath concealing technique. He could be from any force. Nyo Sengoku said he was transported here. Could it be that there is a transportation formation at the bottom of the lava? Lu Kuan saw the change in their expressions, but he didn't care. He changed the shape of his face and borrowed the face and name of Zhang Tianbiao from the Iron Fist School. It would be strange if the 3 of them knew his identity. Lu Kuan turned his head and stared at the light curtain of the restriction in the middle. He clicked his tongue and said, "Fellow Taoists, the restriction in the middle should be the true demon pool. The black liquid in the jade basin next to it. Could it be the legendary pure, true demon water? Hearing Lu Kuan's words, the three people's expressions changed. Nyo Sengoku's eyes flashed fiercely, and he said, "We have wasted too much time. He is alone. Even if he is Ma Jie from the blood refining sect, he will only die if he is surrounded by us. Let's do it." As soon as the voice transmission finished, old Demon Ox patted the storage pouch on his waist, and a trident that flickered with gray light appeared out of thin air before him. It carried a terrifying and cold pressure as it shot violently towards Lu Kuan. This was the psychic magic treasure obtained from the auction, the extreme trident. At the same time, the other two also made their moves. Lung Fian quickly made a hand seal, and from the lava behind Lu Kuan, a group of incomparably dark flames suddenly flew out. With lightning speed, it turned into a ring of fire, enveloping Lu Kuan's body. Although the ring of fire couldn't burn Lu Kuan's flesh and blood, it was extremely strong. It wrapped around Lu Kuan's arms and legs, trapping him in place. When the fiery demon blade burst out with devil flame, Lung Fian took the opportunity to hide her devil flame in the lava. Now, it suddenly burst out and trapped Lu Kuan. After she used her devil flame, the fiery demon blade followed and blasted towards Lu Kuan's glabella. As for the masked man from the Holy Poison sect, he opened his mouth and shot out a 1-meter-long cane. The staff was black and green with a snake head at the front. 2 green snake fangs were exposed. The snake staff attacked Lu Kuan's lower body in an extremely tricky manner. Chapter 740. Lu Kuan raised his head to the sky and laughed. "Come." A huge black hammer appeared in his empty right hand. It was covered in demonic runes, and a heavy aura emerged from it. It was the heaven hammer that weighed 28,000 kilograms. Then, the veins on his arms bulged. His muscles intertwined like steel bars, appearing incomparably ferocious. A layer of purple light appeared on the surface of his skin. He suddenly exerted strength in his arms. The black demonic flames on the outside couldn't withstand this terrifying force and shattered, turning into scattered flames that continued to burn Lu Kuan's body. Lu Kuan ignored the demonic flames of a core formation cultivator. He waved the heaven hammer in his right hand and smashed it towards the extreme trident. He had also participated in the Monolith City's auction and had naturally seen this magic treasure before. With the strength of his bone treasures, he wasn't confident that he could withstand a peak core formation cultivator's attack. When the extreme trident hit the heaven hammer, it was as if it had hit an indestructible iron wall. The trident bent slightly, and then it was sent flying by the terrifying force of the 300,000 kilograms. If Lu Kuan had used his purple firmament staff, he wouldn't have been able to display the full power of its lightning within the demonic chi environment of the secret realm. It was better to use the heaven hammer, which was extremely heavy and made of astonishing materials, to display the full power of 30,000 kilograms. The heaven hammer. So it's you. You can actually display the power of the heaven hammer. Nyo Sengoku immediately felt the enormous force of the extreme trident and the fluctuations of magic power from Lu Kuan's defensive thunder barrier. He naturally recalled this person. After all, there were only a few cultivators at the auction who possessed magic power. Lu Kuan held the heaven hammer with both hands and smashed the trident, but he couldn't block the fiery demonic blade that was shooting towards him from behind. But so what? The fiery demonic blade couldn't break through his finger bones, let alone his skull, which was even thicker. Sure enough, after Lung Fian's fiery demon blade hit Lu Kuan's forehead, it made an extremely helpless crisp sound and only pierced the skin on his forehead. At the same time, the masked man's snake staff was about to hit Lu Kuan's calf. Lu Kuan's left foot was like a shadow. He quickly lifted it up and took a step forward. He directly stepped on the head of the snake's staff and pinned it to the ground of the broken dragon stone. No matter how hard the masked man tried, he could not move it at all. Just as Lu Kuan raised his foot to step on the snake's staff, Nyo Sengoku's eyes lit up. He seemed to have realized that this was an opportunity. The demonic energy in old Demon Ox's body surged, and the extreme trident that had been sent flying rapidly split apart, turning into a javelin and 2 right-angled spikes. This was actually a combined psychic magic treasure. The The two spikes were aimed at Lu Kuan's eyes, while the javelin was aimed at his heart. When the fiery demonic blade on Lu Kuan's forehead missed its target, it quickly spun. The crescent moon blade's demonic blade spun like a saw, trying to saw through Lu Kuan's forehead with a sizzling sound. At the same time, an even deeper flame exploded from the demonic blade. It combined with the demonic flames outside Lu Kuan's body and transformed into a terrifyingly powerful black flame that enveloped Lu Kuan's body. At the same time, the two teeth at the tip of the snake's staff under Lu Kuan's feet also left the staff at this moment. They quickly flew out and shot towards Lu Kuan's calf. The three core formation stage cultivators were very powerful, and their grasp of battle opportunities was even more precise. After the first wave of attacks was blocked by Lu Kuan, the second wave was even more relentless. At this moment, the three of them exploded with incomparable intensity. The terrifying aftershock spread in all directions. Other than the incomparably sturdy dragon severing rock, the surrounding lava was forcibly pressed down by a few feet. The black flame that enveloped Lu Kuan completely exceeded the temperature of lava. Not far away, Nyo Sengoku and the masked man couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Lung Fian looked at Lu Kuan, who was enveloped by the black flame, and clenched her teeth. Her face was full of sweat, and her breathing was somewhat unstable. It could be said that she had used up all the demonic flame essence in her natal magic treasure to activate the black flame ability. In addition to Nyo Sengoku's psychic magic treasure and the masked man's poison treasure, Lung Fian believed that any core formation stage cultivator would not be able to survive such an attack. Just as this thought surfaced in her mind, she felt her fiery demonic blade being tightly gripped by the surging power. Immediately after, a few crisp sounds were heard. Just like before, the 3 components of Nyo Sengoku's extreme Ein Trident were mercilessly sent flying. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of Lung Fian's mouth. The other party had actually grabbed her demonic blade and used it to attack the extreme Ein Trident. Much of the psychic magic treasure's power had been used on her fiery demonic blade. Suddenly, the 3 of them felt an incomparably dense power of blood and chi explode. At this moment, the black flame seemed to have been forced back by an inch. The black light in Lung Fian's eyes flashed, and she immediately saw through the scene within the black flame. The power of her black flame was so strong that it had already burned through the purple barrier around the other party's body. However, this bald man's fire-red inner armor had an excellent defense and had blocked a lot of the black flame attack. However, there was nothing that could be done about his exposed limbs. His skin, which even the lava could not damage, began to fester under the black flames burning, revealing the bright red flesh underneath. However, following the eruption of this power of blood and chi, his flesh and skin actually recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. The other party seemed to be using his unparalleled physical recovery ability to resist her black flame. Seeing this scene, Lung Fian thought of a magical ability and couldn't help but cry out, "Indestructible body, this is impossible." After crying out in alarm, she formed a seal, and all of the black flame entered the fiery demonic blade that Lu Kuan was holding. The demonic blade's power increased greatly. Borrowing the power of the black flame, it broke free from Lu Kuan's grasp and flew towards Lung Fian. When the other two heard about the indestructible body, their hearts trembled violently. They knew about the indestructible body. It was a magical ability that only the most talented demonic beasts or demonic beasts were born with. Moreover, it could only be possessed by those above the 8th grade. The human male in front of them, who was only emitting waves of magic power from the middle stage of the core formation realm, actually had the indestructible body. They simply couldn't believe it. This meant that in order to defeat the other party, they had to launch a powerful attack and destroy his physical body in one go. That was why Lung Fian withdrew her black flame. Her black flame consumed a lot of demonic power and was a continuous burning attack. It was a complete waste of demonic power to resist the other party's indestructible body. Half of the masked man's face was very bitter. Through his senses, he knew that the snake tooth of the snake's staff had already pierced through the other party's purple shield and was half an inch deep into the other party's calf. It was obvious that the poison had entered the other party's body. If it were any other core formation realm cultivator, their physical body would have collapsed in an instant. However, the person in front of them was still able to resist Nyo Sengoku's psychic magic treasure. If the other party was able to block the magic treasure with his bare hands and head, it meant that the other party's physical defense was strong. The indestructible body also prevented the destructive power of his poison from inside. Nyo Sengoku gritted his teeth and said, "What kind of monster is this? Not only is his physical defense and strength so high, but he also has the indestructible body. What's his body made of?" Lu Kuan twisted his neck and looked at the exposed charred skin and muscles. He revealed a row of white teeth and said, "You had a good fight, right? Now it's my turn." Chapter 741. Nyo Sengoku's expression changed greatly. He suddenly remembered that when the other party stepped on the snake staff with one leg, he was extremely fast. This meant that the other party's speed on the ground was astonishing. He quickly formed a seal, and a small round gray shield flew out of his body. The two shields were exactly the same, as if they were a set of magic treasures. They stuck to Nyo Sengoku's body one after the other, and a bright gray light enveloped his entire body. When Lung Fian heard Lu Kuan's words, her beautiful face turned pale. She directly bit the tip of her tongue and stimulated the blood essence in her body. She spat out the black flame from before, which sank into the fire shield outside her body and dyed the whole shield black. As for the masked man, his reaction seemed to be a beat slower. When the green poisonous fog outside his body was condensing inwards, Lu Kuan's burly figure had already appeared behind him. He raised the heaven hammer with both hands and smashed it towards the masked man's head. Even with a defensive magic treasure, it would be difficult to block the 150,000 kilograms of the psychic devil hammer. The masked man seemed to have sensed the danger. His remaining green eyes shone with determination, as if he was about to explode his Jindan. At that moment, an incomparably ear-piercing scream came from behind his head. The strange sound wave turned into an invisible wave, shattering his eardrums. Even the brain in his head trembled. He even heard the sound of his brain bursting. Immediately after, the pitch-black sledgehammer slammed into the green mist outside his head. The despair-inducing force easily shattered this defense, shattered his consciousness, and killed him. But at that moment, a pitch-black liquid burst out of the skull and shot out from the Heaven Tough hammer. It seemed to be the manifestation of the black mask, and it shot toward Lu Kuan's face. Lu Kuan didn't seem to have expected this. He only had time to turn his head, and then the black liquid splashed on the side of his right ear. SSSSSSSSSSS. A nauseating smell filled the air, accompanied by the sound of corrosion. The skin on the right side of Lu Kuan's face was directly corroded by the black liquid, revealing the light purple bones inside. Then, the venom was blocked by the bones. However, the black liquid was extremely poisonous. Lu Kuan's bones, which had turned into a magic treasure, seemed to have its spirituality damaged. Fortunately, Lu Kuan reacted at that moment and quickly took out a fiery red jade bottle. In his mind, most poisons were afraid of the fire attribute. This fiery red jade bottle was suitable. His left hand directly wiped the black liquid from the side of his head and absorbed it into the jade bottle. The masked man was already dead, and there was no one controlling the black venom. Naturally, there was no way it could stop Lu Kuan's fingers. So, in the span of a few breaths, countless fingers quickly moved like phantoms, and after paying the price of 3 fingers, the venom on his face was removed. The whole process of poisoning and detoxification only took 10 breaths. Fortunately, Lu Kuan had used a sound wave attack before. Not far away, Nyo Sengoku and Lung Fian's head were injured. Even if their spiritual awareness found Lu Kuan's flaw, they couldn't attack for a while. After entering the middle stage of the bone treasure, the power of the sound wave seemed to have reached a higher level. It could even cause damage to the enemy's brain. Moreover, in such a closed cave, the power was even stronger. Old Demon Ox and Lung Fian's brains were injured, and their magic power was not listening to them. Their divine senses saw Lu Kuan kill the masked man and survive under the poison of the mask. Lu Kuan, who had entered the middle stage of the bone treasure, Even if he didn't use the magical power of the arm, his attack power was not inferior to any peak of the late stage of the core formation stage. Not to mention, he used such a strange and incomparably heavy treasure like the Heaven Hammer. Coupled with the sound wave attack of the Unity Cultivator, it was impossible to guard against. Fairy Lung used this soundproof shield. Neo Sengoku used his magical power to suppress the pain in his head and immediately transmitted his voice. He had rich combat experience. The sound wave just now ignored their defensive shield. Obviously, it was another form of attack. After suffering an attack, he directly thought of a countermeasure. Hey, not bad. You thought of it so quickly. Lu Kuan twisted his neck and smiled at the two people who were holding up the soundproof shield. The right side of his head was slowly recovering skin and flesh. His smile was extremely ferocious. Then, he disappeared on the spot. Lu Kuan, who had entered the middle stage of the bone treasure, the power of his legs increased sharply. In addition, after the bones became a magic weapon, he could fully exert the speed of the magic weapon. Therefore, his figure was not something that a core formation stage cultivator could catch. This time, he did not deal with the weak Lung Fian. Instead, he directly appeared outside Neo Sengoku's body. The Heaven Hammer hit the gray light outside Neo Sengoku's body without any suspense. However, to Lu Kuan's surprise, with the power of the Heaven Hammer, it only scattered most of the gray light. Then, the two round shields flashed and the gray light was full again. Neo Sengoku's eyes were bloodshot. He stared at Lu Kuan and said, "Surname Zhang. I have top aptitude, but I only entered the false nascent soul stage when I was more than 400 years old. It was in order to temper this pair of shadow demon shields to the mature stage. Even if it is the power of a nascent soul stage cultivator, I dare to take it head on. Although your attack is powerful, it has not reached the level of the nascent soul stage. You can't kill me." Hearing this, Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with a golden light. While looking at the shadow demon shields outside Neo Sengoku's body, he continued to wave the Heaven Hammer to attack. Sure enough, as Neo Sengoku said, every time he finished attacking, the shadow demon shields would always be able to replenish the defense, unless it was a very strong attack. "I can also exhaust your magic power." Neo Sengoku smiled bitterly and said, "We have been in the Devil's Den for a quarter of an hour. I am afraid that the 7 molten fiend crocodiles outside will be back soon. I don't believe that you can escape from them after a fierce battle with us." Neo Sengoku said eagerly, "Only by cooperating with us can you smoothly get the pure water of the true demon and leave this place safely." Lu Kuan sighed and said, "It seems that I can only use that move." He locked onto the crystallized blood magic power in the depths of his bones and activated the magic power and blood essence of the Great Circle of Foundation Establishment, directly activating the Omni-Arm Theurgy. No, it should be called the Demon Arm. Lu Kuan's arms suddenly enlarged, suddenly becoming twice their original size. The hair on his arms also increased, growing into long black hairs. These arms directly turned into the arms of a chimpanzee, exuding not the aura of magic power, but the purest magic power pressure. The Heaven Hammer in Lu Kuan's hand seemed to have sensed something, and an inexplicable fluctuation appeared faintly. "You could die now." The Demon Arm Theurgy increased Lu Kuan's strength by 50%, from 150,000 gene to 450,000 gene. At the same time, Lu Kuan's eyes instantly became incomparably red, and an extremely brutal thought emerged from the demon ape arm Neo Sengoku and Lung Fian, who was about to escape, felt this thought, and their expressions suddenly became absent-minded. Outside Lu Kuan's Heaven Hammer, a black halo also appeared, as if the demon ape arm had activated some kind of theurgy. Neo Sengoku was disturbed by this thought, and he didn't even have time to use a set of magic weapons to attack. The terrifying power smashed through the gray spirit light, and his head and body turned into ashes. The remaining power of the Heaven Hammer didn't decrease and bombarded the ground, and an invisible wave of power spread out in all directions. Lung Fian's expression was still in a trance, and the flame shield outside her body surged, and most of the spirit light dissipated. Lu Kuan's attack with the demon ape arm was actually so terrifying. The blood magic power of the Great Circle of Foundation Establishment combined with the blood essence only had the power for one attack. After this attack, Lu Kuan's arms returned to normal. He shook his head and flashed in front of Lung Fian. Lung Fian had just awakened from the brutal thought, and when she saw Lu Kuan suddenly appear in front of her, she immediately screamed, "You can't kill me. If you kill me, you can't get the water of the true devil." Chapter 742. Lung Fian looked at Lu Kuan with fear. The memory of the moment before her divine sense fell into a trance clearly lingered in her mind. That extremely brutal thought rushed straight into her divine sense, causing her to lose consciousness. Her flame shield and soundproof shield were still unable to isolate it. When she woke up, she found that Nyo Sengoku was already dead, and half of her flame shield's aura had been destroyed. In other words, this person's divine sense to kill Nyo Sengoku not only broke her mature stage defensive magic weapon, but the aftermath of the attack also scattered a lot of her flame shield. All of these made her completely lose the thought of resisting. Lu Kuan put down the heaven hammer and frowned. According to Nyo Sengoku, you've only been in here for half a quarter of an hour. How can you think of a way to break the light curtain in such a short time? It seems that you still need 2 core formation stage cultivators to work together. Lung Fian lowered her head and replied in a trembling voice, "Fellow Taoist Zhang, it's like this. Nyo Sengoku has just tried using the Yuan Jade Pendant and found that the white aura of the Jade Pendant can dissipate half of the power of the restriction. At least 2 people need to work together to activate the Yuan Jade Pendant to completely open the restriction. If fellow Taoist kills me, you won't be able to get the pure, true devil water inside. After all, a cultivator can only activate 1 Yuan Jade Pendant." Lu Kuan turned his wrist and turned the heaven hammer around, making a buzzing sound. Looking at the terrified Lung Fian, he said lightly, "Go over and activate the Jade Pendant." Lung Fian obediently walked over to the restriction. In order to show her obedience, she withdrew the black flames outside her body, leaving only the initial flame shield. After she walked to the middle of the restriction, she injected her devil power into the Yuan Jade Pendant in her hand. As soon as the white aura emitted by the Jade Pendant touched the silver-gray light curtain, it immediately dissipated half of the aura. Most of the arrays in the secret territory are connected to the Yuan Jade Pendant. It seems that what she said is true. Lu Kuan saw this scene and showed a thoughtful expression. Just as he arrived outside the light barrier in a flash, several furious roars suddenly sounded from the only entrance and exit of the cave, and the ground beneath his feet faintly trembled. Lung Fian's face turned pale as she said, "Oh no, the molten fiend crocodiles are coming back. That's 7 high-level fiend crocodiles." Lu Kuan said in a deep voice, "Don't worry about the demon crocodile. Keep the jade pendant shining." Then he also activated the jade pendant in his hand, and the white light of the 2 jade pendants merged together, completely opening the restriction light curtain. Almost at the same time, a milky white jade bottle appeared in Lu Kuan's hand, and he immediately began to absorb the pure, true demonic water in the jade basin. When Lung Fian saw this, she did not look at the water of the true demon. Instead, she cautiously glanced at the purplish-black demon chi in the true demon pool. He didn't know if it was because Lu Kuan was collecting the pure, true demon water, but after the purple-black demon chi lost the isolation of his shield, it floated towards Lu Kuan and soon shrouded his body. When Lung Fian saw this, her eyes were filled with joy. A jade bowl appeared in her hand, and she scooped up the pure, true demon water. She naturally knew that this purplish-black demon chi was the true demon chi. If ordinary immortal cultivators came into contact with it, they would be affected by the true demon will inside and lose their mind. At this time, seeing Lu Kuan being shrouded by the true demon chi due to his carelessness, she naturally wanted to seize the opportunity to seize the pure true demon water. "You dare to snatch food from the tiger's mouth." Lu Kuan lifted one leg and quickly kicked the jade bowl away. Lung Fian lost her voice and said, "You have a way to deal with the true demon will." After Lu Kuan glanced at Lung Fian, He ignored her and focused on collecting the pure, true demon water. At this time, a giant demon crocodile more than 5 feet long appeared at the entrance of the cave. Its lantern-sized eyes were glowing red, staring at the restriction in the middle and the pure, true demon water that Lu Kuan was collecting. Lu Kuan felt the pressure of the demon crocodile and frowned. Peak level 7 molten fiend crocodile? Lung Fian's eyes flashed, and she quickly put away the Yuan Jade pendant and retreated. "Wanna run?" Lu Kuan waved one hand and threw out the Heaven Hammer. The heavy demonic hammer was accompanied by a tearing sound in the air and directly hit the flame shield outside Lung Fian's body. The huge force slammed her into the rock wall, and the shield outside her body was almost broken. He looked at the restriction in front of him that had closed again, and his face was a little ugly. The female cultivator had removed the light of the jade pendant halfway, causing him to only collect half of the pure, true demon water in the jade bowl. If he hadn't reacted quickly, the jade bottle might have been trapped in the restriction. Roar! The level 7 molten fiend crocodile had already rushed over, and its thick, hill-like tail slammed toward Lu Kuan. Before the tail arrived, the wind pressure had already fallen on Lu Kuan's body. "Come on." Lu Kuan put away the Yuan Jade pendant, and his body sank. His back was against the silver-gray restriction, and his hands were clenched into fists. At the same time, the bones in his arms were shining brightly. Facing the level 7 demonic beast, he directly used his spiritual power to activate the strengthening array of the bones in his arms. Then, his left and right hands, with a terrifying force, threw out 2 simple straight punches. The fiend crocodile's tail and fist collided in an instant. An invisible wave of power spread out in all directions, and the twisted, high-temperature air seemed to be affected by this wave of power, squeezing in all directions. It was as if the space between the man and the beast had become a vacuum. The level 7 molten fiend crocodile let out a painful roar. In its judgment, this human should have been smashed into meat paste, but the expected scene did not happen. Instead, it felt a sharp pain in its tail. Lu Kuan's body was intact, and the 2 forearms that were used to block the fiend crocodile's tail were all submerged in the thick tail of the level 7 fiend crocodile. The level 7 fiend crocodile's strength was indeed strong. The strength of its tail almost reached 250,000 pounds. Combined with its weight of more than 10,000 pounds and its strong defensive armor, its power was astonishing. However, it was facing Lu Kuan, and Lu Kuan's strength was even stronger than it. His back was supported by the silver-gray restriction, which was equivalent to having solid support. In addition, the bones in his fists were activated by his spiritual power, making them extremely hard. The collision of the powerful strength of the man and the beast produced an instant interaction force that almost reached 250,000 pounds. Such a huge force exploded from a pair of small fists, and one could imagine the power. The fiend crocodile's tail was like hitting 2 smelly and hard nails. Its tail armor was pierced through as if it was made of paste. Taking advantage of the fiend crocodile's pain, Lu Kuan suddenly pulled out his arms, bringing along bursts of hot blood. He stepped on the fiend crocodile's tail, and in a flash, he arrived at the end of the fiend crocodile's tail. Roar! Lu Kuan's arms hugged the fiend crocodile's tail, and he let out a roar towards the sky. The terrifying strength of 300,000 pounds poured out from his arms, and he easily lifted the fiend crocodile, which was less than 20,000 pounds, and smashed it on the broken dragon stone on the ground. Under the strength of tens of thousands of pounds, no matter how hard the fiend crocodile struggled, it couldn't break free. At this time, in the distant tunnel, several fiend molten crocodiles came in one after another. Their fiery red eyes flashed with a dull color. Although they had gained intelligence, they couldn't understand the scene in front of them. Their king, the most powerful leader of their clan, the fiend molten crocodile king, which had the strength of a level 7 peak, was actually being wantonly smashed by a puny human with its tail. Accompanied by a few rumbling sounds, the level 7 fiend crocodile, which was a little dizzy, was thrown towards the entrance of the cave by Lu Kuan. The fiend crocodiles that came later were flustered. Lu Kuan then quickly flashed to the side of the wall, but Lung Fian, who had fallen to the ground, turned into a phantom and disappeared. Lu Kuan's expression froze. He then picked up the heaven hammer on the ground and sighed. This female cultivator in the late core formation stage is not simple. While the fiend molten crocodiles were harassing her, she used a secret technique to escape. She even escaped the senses of the other high-level fiend crocodiles. He swung the heaven hammer and put it away. Waves of chi and blood surged from his palm. The flesh on his fist had already been damaged when he fought with a level 7 fiend crocodile and needed to be repaired. He walked towards the location of the previous battle. Nyo Sengoku and the other enemy's storage pouches were still on the ground. Chapter 743. Lu Kuan walked to the place where Nyo Sengoku died. At this time, in addition to 2 small gray round shields on the ground, there was also a close-fitting inner armor. It seemed to be made from the fur of some kind of demon beast, and its defensive power was not low. Lu Kuan was quite emotional. Previously, when I used the demon arm to activate the heaven hammer, it seemed to have accidentally activated the power of this demon treasure. Its attack power increased greatly, and Nyo Sengoku was killed in one fell swoop. As he spoke, he picked up the 2 shields on the ground. Judging from the quality of the materials and the aura, it is indeed a complete set of magic treasures. Furthermore, it has entered the mature stage of magic treasures. If old Devil Ox had used the combined attack of the complete set of magic treasures, he might have been able to survive that attack. Lu Kuan put it into his bag rather cautiously. This pair of shields was the first mature magic weapons he had obtained. Although they were Nyo Sengoku's natal magic weapons, and he couldn't activate them, it didn't prevent him from studying them from the perspective of refining. Studying this kind of mature magic weapon would be a great inspiration for his future cultivation. After all, he deduced that the late stage of the bone treasure was the realm where the whole body of bone magic weapons entered the mature stage. Nyo Sengoku was able to refine a complete set of magic weapons to the mature stage in 300 years. It's really not easy. Maybe there's some knocking on the door. Thinking of this, Lu Kuan first put away the animal skin inner armor, and then picked up Nyo Sengoku's storage bags one by one. After a slight sweep with his divine sense, he couldn't help but reveal a surprised expression. This guy's net worth is not small. In these storage bags, there were a large number of spirit stones, and even more than 2,000 demon stones. In addition, all kinds of cultivation jade slips, medicinal pills, and refining materials were also very rich. It was much more than the core formation stage powerhouses Lu Kuan had killed before. However, thinking about it, Nyo Sengoku was a famous loose cultivator of the demonic path. It was understandable that he had so much net worth. Loose cultivators generally carried all their belongings with them, and this guy was also a master of burning, killing, and robbing. It was a pity that old Demon Nyo had been killed by Lu Kuan, a body cultivator with a different fighting style, in the lava catacombs of the Yuan secret realm. If it had been any other place, he might have had a chance to survive. After all, Nyo Sengoku had a complete set of mature, defensive magic weapons, and his demonic power was deep. After being a loose cultivator of the demonic path for so many years, he must have many life-saving secret techniques. After he collected Nyo Sengoku's things, he walked toward the masked man. From the way this person's attack, he knew that he was a cultivator of the core of the sacred poison sect. At first, the poison on the snake's staff was still fine, as it was dispersed by his vigorous blood chi. However, he didn't expect that the black material used as a mask was actually a top-notch poison. If it wasn't for the fact that no one was controlling the poison, and Lu Kuan reacted quickly and put it away, the skull treasure would have suffered considerable damage. This mysterious black liquid could even corrode magic weapons. Picking up the storage bags and the snake's staff, Lu Kuan looked inside with anticipation. He found that most of them were bottles and jars, presumably containing all kinds of strange poisons. Forget it, the poison cultivator's things are a bit messy. I'll let Little Do tidy them up later. After stretching his neck and relaxing his tired muscles, Lu Kuan put away the storage pouches on his waist one by one into the fiery red armor on his upper body. There was a storage pouch that he had specially made for himself inside the storage pouch. This molten armor was a defensive magic weapon made from a large amount of molten demon crocodile scales that had been tempered with pure devil chi. It had extremely strong defensive power and fire resistance. In the battle just now, the molten armor had provided him with great assistance. The majority of the power of the black flames had been blocked by it. Otherwise, even with Lu Kuan's physical body, he wouldn't have been able to resist the top-notch devil flames with his blood chi recovery ability. It's really a golden belt for killing and arson. Lu Kuan patted the bulging armor and sighed with emotion. Then, he looked at the molten demon crocodiles that were pacing back and forth at the entrance of the cave. The largest of them was a grade 7 demon crocodile. Apart from the damaged scales on its tail, there were no other injuries. However, after it was beaten up by Lu Kuan, its lantern-sized eyes showed a trace of fear. Clearly, for a devil beast like it, being defeated by an enemy with absolute physical strength was more terrifying than being defeated by magic. The feeling of having its tail grabbed and unable to resist was simply terrible. When the grade 7 demon crocodile saw Lu Kuan looking at it, it couldn't help but let out a low warning growl. Lu Kuan opened his mouth, revealing a mouthful of white teeth. With a harmless expression, he said, "Big crocodile, I don't mean any harm. I'll just stay here for 2 days. You can do whatever you want." He slapped his head and said, "Oh, right. I came from another level. Let this little crocodile talk to you." After he finished speaking, a light flashed in front of Lu Kuan, and a molten demon crocodile more than 6 meters long appeared on the rock on the ground. It was the molten demon crocodile king that Lu Kuan had fought on the first level. Although this molten demon crocodile was only at the peak of grade 4, because it had awakened its bloodline inheritance, its intelligence was extremely high. It wasn't inferior to any grade 7 devil beast. After knowing that Lu Kuan had gone to another level and would return, it wanted to come over and meet the seniors of its clan. Anyway, when Lu Kuan returned, it would follow him. After all, its beloved female crocodile was there. As soon as the molten demon crocodile king was let out by Lu Kuan, it saw the seniors of its clan. They were all strong and powerful, and the leader was actually 15 meters long. It was a 7th grade magical beast. The molten demon crocodile king immediately ran over while flapping its tail. Seeing this, Lu Kuan slowly walked to the center of the restriction and sat down cross-legged. He had brought this molten demon crocodile with him for a purpose. At least, it could reduce the hostility of these high-grade devil crocodiles so that they wouldn't continue fighting. Just now, when he fought with the grade 7 molten demon crocodile, it could be considered a trick. With the restriction behind him, he made use of the explosive force of both sides to break the surface. However, if he really fought with these high-grade devil crocodiles, Lu Kuan would probably be exhausted. A grade 7 devil crocodile had the strength of 250 kilograms. Even if the other crocodiles were weaker, they wouldn't be too far off. His bone treasures were just beginning to condense, and the real material was not as good as the scales of these old crocodiles that had been tempered for many years. It would be troublesome to fight. After a while, Lu Kuan noticed that the hostility in the eyes of the high-grade crocodiles had decreased by half. After communicating with the small devil crocodile, they all climbed into the surrounding lava and exposed their eyes. They looked at Lu Kuan as if they were guarding against a thief. Such a scene made Lu Kuan stunned. He couldn't help but think maliciously, these high-grade devil crocodiles put their treasures in the lava? Shaking his head, Lu Kuan arranged a few layers of formations around him to isolate the devil chi in the cave. Then, he took out dozens of mid-grade spirit stones and began to recover his FALE. The devil chi environment in the secret realm was still very restrictive to Lu Kuan, who was cultivating the Imperial Thunderbody refinement art. The biggest thing was that there was no spirit chi in the environment, which greatly reduced the speed of Lu Kuan's FALE recovery. He could only arrange formations to isolate the devil chi and use a large number of spirit stones to speed up his recovery. Even so, Lu Kuan's combat power did not weaken too much. After entering the middle stage of the bone treasure realm, all his bones had become bone treasures that were engraved with strong formations. The main consumption of Fa Li was either to fly or to strengthen the toughness of the bone treasures. These two methods of Fa Li activation were produced in the body, and the surrounding devil chi environment could not affect it. However, if Lu Kuan were to use a psychic magic treasure like the purple firmament rod, which required magic power to activate, the magic treasure's ability would be weakened to a very low level by the dense demonic chi in the surroundings. When Lu Kuan used the Heaven Hammer, his attack power was almost entirely dependent on the 300,000 gene of brute force of his physical body. Such a pure physical attack would naturally not be weakened by any devil chi. It could be said that after entering the middle stage of the Bone Treasure Realm, the body cultivator's physical Fa Li had become an auxiliary. The real combat power came from the strength of the physical body. The combat power of the middle stage of the Bone Treasure Realm was almost doubled compared to the early stage of the Bone Treasure Realm. If Lu Kuan was still in the early stage of the Bone Treasure Realm and fought with Nyo Sengoku and the other two, he would probably be forced to use the Linking Arms divine ability at the beginning, and it would be very difficult for him to fight. The final result would definitely be him fleeing. But after entering the middle stage of the Bone Treasure Realm, not only could he ignore the attacks of ordinary magic weapons and use the bone treasure to resist, but he could also catch magic weapons with his bare hands. He could even forcibly hold the opponent's magic weapon in his hand and use it as a temporary weapon. Chapter 744. The previous battle was short, so Lu Kuan didn't consume much magic power. The final attack of the demon arm only consumed a portion of Foundation Establishment Great Circle Blood Devil's power. The main reason was that he used the Yuan Jade pendant twice, which consumed a lot of magic power. After a whole day, Lu Kuan recovered his magic power and took out the Heaven Hammer to examine it carefully. The hammer was still the same as before, pitch black, and the various runes on it hadn't changed. When he used the demon arm to deal with the Nyo Sengoku, the Heaven Hammer didn't react at first, but when the brutal intent appeared in his demon arm, the hammer seemed to have undergone a strange change. A black halo appeared on the surface of the hammer, causing Lu Kuan's attack power to increase dramatically. This reminded him of the true demon intent. This brutal intent was formed by him using the Blood Devil art to transform the remaining true demon intent in the true demon pool into Blood Devil force that he could control. He had experimented before. When this Blood Devil force was used to activate the demon arm, the demon ape's arm would appear. It was covered in black hair and looked like a ferocious chimpanzee's arm. The demon arm could completely unleash his Blood Devil force, activating the brutal intent within and releasing it in an offensive manner. Today, Lu Kuan used the demon arm to activate the Heaven Hammer by releasing the brutal intent. The brutal intent could activate the Heaven Hammer's power. The brutal intent of the Blood Devil art came from the True Demon Pool's True Demon Intent. The True Demon Intent activated the Heaven Hammer. The result was obvious. The Heaven Hammer was most likely a weapon of the ancient demon race. According to the Black Fiend Devil Soul, only the demon race could wantonly absorb the true demon chi in the True Demon Pool. Thus, it was very normal for the demon race to have true demon intent in their bodies. After coming to this conclusion, Lu Kuan not only attached more importance to the Heaven Hammer, but also a greater desire for the Blood Devil art. If he had the Blood Devil force of the core formation stage, he could use the demon arm to attack the Heaven Hammer 30 to 40 times. How terrifying would his combat power be? He might even be able to fight a nascent soul stage cultivator. I still have 3 portions of Foundation Establishment Great Circle Blood Demon Force in my body. However, the Blood Demon Force can only be transformed after my lightning elemental dermic powers disappear. In other words, I can still use the Heaven Hammer 3 more times, and each attack has the strength of the demon arm and the power of the Heaven Hammer. Lu Kuan carefully looked at the Heaven Hammer again, then carefully put it away. He then began to look through Nyo Sengoku's bag of holding, skipping over the bottles of demonic pills and looking at the jade slips inside. There are quite a few pill formulas. This Nyo Sengoku is also proficient in alchemy. This is a demonic cultivation technique? A spiritual light flashed in Lu Kuan's hand, and an exquisite jade slip appeared. Extreme true devil art? Lu Kuan skimmed through it slightly, and his face revealed a look of surprise. This was actually a rather complete set of devil path cultivation method, from the foundation establishment stage to the early nascent soul stage, and the content of each cultivation stage was very detailed. Lu Kuan hurriedly read it carefully. High-level cultivation techniques in the immortal cultivation world were very rare, especially those for the nascent soul stage. He had killed so many core formation stage cultivators, but he had never obtained one, so one could imagine how rare it was. Of course, there was another reason. Many large sects let their disciples memorize the cultivation techniques in their minds, and wouldn't put the cultivation techniques in their bags of holding. Moreover, with the oath stone and other means, it was very difficult for the sect's high-level cultivation techniques to be leaked. However, Nyo Sengoku was a rogue cultivator, and he wasn't bound by any sect, so naturally, he would carry his own cultivation techniques with him. As a result, Lu Kuan picked up a bargain. Right now, what Lu Kuan lacked the most was a high-level cultivation technique, especially the part about breaking through to the nascent soul stage. He had fought with Heisha, but that guy was from the devil race. Even if his strength had reached the nascent soul stage, there was no way for him to use as a reference. Therefore, Lu Kuan had never been able to imagine what the nascent soul stage was like. In the outside world, it was rumored that the gap between the core formation stage and the nascent soul stage was like heaven and earth. A nascent soul stage cultivator killing a core formation stage cultivator almost didn't need to expend too much strength. Lu Kuan's body refining technique had been perfected by him to the middle core formation stage, and he also had a clear direction for the late core formation stage. He only needed to perfect the auxiliary blood demon bone refining technique to shorten the time needed to enter the late core formation stage. However, after entering the late core formation stage, he had no clue how to enter the nascent soul stage. Nyo Sengoku's extreme, true devil technique, which could directly lead to the early nascent soul stage, was really a timely help. Its value to Lu Kuan was immeasurable. After another day and night, Lu Kuan slowly withdrew his divine sense from the extreme, true devil technique. The joy in his eyes disappeared without a trace, and it was replaced by a distressed expression. The nascent soul is the product of the sublimation of spiritual power and demonic power after the core is broken. Without destruction, there can be no construction. Only by leaving the shackles of Shao Jin's core can one's spiritual power or demonic power reach a higher level, and their capacity is also greatly increased. However, there is no Jin Dan in the body of a body cultivator. How can one break the core and form the nascent soul? When I enter the late bone treasure stage, my physical body and bones will become mature magic treasures. It will be difficult to damage them, and it will be impossible to break them. Lu Kuan's brows furrowed deeper and deeper. Even if the bones are broken, so what if I form the nascent soul? Without a body like a magic treasure, the level of spiritual power will increase. For a body cultivator, what's the use? This path is completely impossible for a body cultivator. I can't break my bones to form the nascent soul, so I need to find another path to achieve a breakthrough in the body cultivator realm. Lu Kuan slowly put away the extreme, true devil technique. He thought again. The blood magic technique's core formation stage cultivation method should be to condense the demonic core and then cultivate the blood magic of the core formation stage. I don't have a Jin Dan. After obtaining the high-level cultivation method of the blood magic technique, the first thing I have to solve is how to generate the blood magic of the core formation stage without relying on the Jin Dan. Similarly, the nascent soul stage of body cultivator, the first thing I have to solve is how to sublimate my spiritual power to the nascent soul level without relying on the nascent soul. According to the description in the extreme, true devil technique, the spiritual power and demonic power of the nascent soul stage is a big level higher than that of the core formation stage. Only by using a higher level of energy to temper the body can the body continue to improve. After thinking hard for a long time, Lu Kuan exhaled a mouthful of turbid air, and his eyes were firm. The road of Body Cultivator is long and heavy. It's better to take advantage of the secret territory to plunder more treasures, especially the pure water of the true devil. He glanced at the remaining water of the true devil in the light curtain behind him again and muttered, "Go back and catch a core formation stage cultivator to help me open this." Lu Kuan, through the extreme true devil technique, knew the important role of the pure water of the true devil for demonic cultivators. For ordinary demonic cultivators to advance to the nascent soul stage, they first had to endure the intense pain of breaking the core, and secondly, they had to grasp the opportunity to sublimate the demonic power of the core, so that the demonic power after breaking the core would turn into the nascent soul. This stage of sublimation of demonic power was the most difficult. Just like the promotion of Qi refining stage, they had to sense the opportunity of liquid spiritual power, and the promotion of foundation establishment stage to core formation stage. They had to sense the crystallization and solidification of the spiritual power. The sublimation of the spiritual power of the nascent soul stage was even more difficult to comprehend. The pure water of the true devil was swallowed at the moment of breaking the core. On one hand, it could reduce the pain of breaking the core, and, on the other hand, they could rely on the high-level energy of the water of the true devil to make it easier to sublimate the demonic power, greatly increasing the chances of promotion. Therefore, if demonic cultivators had the pure water of the true devil in their hands, it would be much easier to break the core and form a nascent soul. After that, as long as they survived the test of their inner demons, they would be able to smoothly enter the realm of the old monsters of the nascent soul stage. The pure water of the true devil, the energy in it is extremely high level, obviously above the level of the nascent soul stage. After I obtain the high-level cultivation method of the blood devil technique, it will definitely be of great use. The more I get, the more it will help me to comprehend the energy of the nascent soul stage in the future. Although Lu Kuan had soaked in the water of the true devil pool, and such high-level energy had entered his body, but at that time, he did not have the opportunity to absorb and comprehend it. He was very passive in his transformation into the devil ape, and the consequences of the true devil pool entering his body were still vivid in his mind. If there was more true devil intent entering his body, he was not sure that he could get rid of it, so it was safer to use the pure water of the true devil. Thinking of this, Lu Kuan began to explore the jade slip of Nyo Sengoku. This Nyo Sengoku was the leader of the three people, and their purpose was the pure water of the true devil. Otherwise, they would not be prepared to lead away the high-level devil alligator. So Nyo Sengoku should have a map or other jade slip in his storage bag. Found it. Hey, these jade slips are all the same. Lu Kuan searched carefully and found many jade slips related to the secret realm, and a lava cave was just one of them. This made him a little surprised. No wonder Nyo Sengoku spent a lot of time tempering his life source magic weapon. It turns out that he has so many maps and information of the Yuan secret realm in his hands. Naturally, he is not in a hurry to break through, but to increase his strength first, and then enter the secret realm to obtain the pure water of the true devil, which is more reliable. Hey, there's the water of the true devil in the depths of the devil swamp, and it seems not too far from here. Chapter 745. More than 300 miles away from the molten cave was a swamp filled with a corrosive and damp aura. Even the demonic qi in the air seemed sticky. The ground was muddy and bubbled constantly. A foul stench was emitted as the bubbles burst. From time to time, the carcasses of some creatures would roll out. The air was filled with moist demonic power, and the soil was so fertile. Other than various insects and beasts, there were also towering trees in the swamp. Every tree here was more than 500 feet tall. It could be said that they covered the sky. They had golden bark and black leaves. Below the trunk, they were not much different from ordinary trees. They had lush leaves, rough and rugged bark, and a large number of thick forked branches. But above the trunk, all the branches and lush leaves had disappeared, leaving only the huge trunk with a diameter of 10 zhong, which was bare and towering into the sky. At the top of the trunk was a hole like the top of a volcano. Thick black smoke was emitted. Looking from afar, the sky above the vast swamp was shrouded in thick black smoke. This was the Devil Swamp of the Yuan Secret Realm. The existence of the Devil Swamp was known by the 3 demonic sections. Even the inheritances of the western region had the location of this place. However, demonic cultivators who knew about this place would take a detour when they came close. They did not dare to enter. On this day, a team of 7 core formation demonic cultivators arrived at the Devil Swamp. The leader was a short, middle-aged man. He wore a dark brocade robe. His calm face and steady eyes showed that he was an experienced and prudent person. The remaining 6 people were men and women. They all wore the same robe as the middle-aged man. However, the color and aura of the runes on the robe were different. These 7 people were the famous 7 Fiends, children of the 7 Fiends sect. Each of their names corresponded to the 7 Fiends' true devil art they cultivated. They were respectively named Metal, Wood, Water, Fire, Earth, Soul, and Blood. The 6 of them had ambushed the blood-refining sect in the Ouyang family in an attempt to kill Su Zihong. Unfortunately, due to the appearance of old Demon Pang's doppelganger, the mission failed. Furthermore, Xuesha of the 7 demons was also captured. Among the 7 evil spirits, Xuesha already had another face. She was a skinny middle-aged woman. Her cultivation level was even higher than Xuesha's. She was at the peak of the mid-core formation stage. Not to mention Xuesha, the other 6 people's cultivation had also increased greatly. They all entered the peak of the intermediate stage of the completion level and were only 1 step away from the advanced stage of the completion level. The middle-aged man in the lead was Han Sha. He was the one with the strongest spiritual sense among the 7 evil spirits. He had almost reached the peak of the late core formation realm. His spiritual sense was on par with a false nascent soul realm cultivator. The 7 evil spirits were led by him. Han Sha quietly observed the devil-devouring swamp in front of him. The corners of his mouth curled into a smile as he said, "Earth Demon, your deduction is correct. The devil-devouring swamp is not affected by the heaven and earth-shattering phenomenon of the secret realm." Beside Han Sha was a tall and well-built middle-aged man. He wore an earthen yellow robe. He was Tu Sha, one of the 7 evils. Tu Sha laughed out loud and said, "Boss, there are tens of thousands of golden demon trees here. The roots of each tree are many meters deep into the ground. Naturally, they are extremely stable." Han Sha nodded and said, "The devil-devouring swamp has not changed. The pure, true demon water inside should not be affected. We will first go to the depths of the swamp and collect the pure, true demon water before crossing the swamp. According to our calculations, crossing the swamp is the best way to enter the mountain range at the center of the secret realm. Even if the blood-refining sect has Ma Jie leading the team, they will not be faster than us." Han Sha looked at everyone and said seriously, "Back in the sect, the elders have already explained the situation of the devil-devouring swamp to us in detail. Remember, the outermost layer of the barrier must be covered with the primary evil spirit light. Do not remove it. There are hundreds of thousands of devil-devouring bees living in the devil-devouring swamp. These strange devil-devouring bees specialize in devouring devil energy. With them around, other than the devil beasts that live in symbiosis with them, no other Class 7 devil beast dare to enter the swamp. If an unfamiliar devil energy aura appears in the swamp, the devil-devouring bees will swarm over. If we encounter such a situation, we must immediately activate a secret technique and use the nascent soul-level escape light to quickly cross the swamp. There are golden demon trees here. Our divine senses are blocked. Everyone must not be more than 10 meters away from each other so that we can provide support at any time." The rest of the 6 evil spirits nodded solemnly. They naturally knew how terrifying the devil-devouring bees were. These devil energy-devouring insects were a nightmare for devil cultivators when their numbers increased. With hundreds of thousands of them, even nascent soul devil cultivators would not dare to face them head-on. However, their 7 evil sex cultivation technique was different. It was a combination of devil energy and evil spirit. Therefore, they could use the primary evil spirit light that was completely constructed from evil spirit chi. Aside from having a decent defense, This spirit light could also isolate the aura within the body and only reveal evil spirit chi. After being tested by many seniors of the Seven Evils sect, the devil-devouring bees were unable to detect the existence of evil spirit chi. Other than the devil-devouring bees, the trees in the swamp were very strange. The top of the tree trunk spewed out devil chi that was filled with corrosive power. The corrosive power was so strong that even a peak core formation defensive barrier would find it difficult to resist. Furthermore, the black smoke released by the trees even contained some true devil intent. As a result, even nascent soul cultivators would not dare to fly in such smoke. If one wanted to enter the depths of the swamp, they could only pass through the swamp. As a result, due to the devil-devouring bees' existence, no one except the devil cultivators of the Seven Evils sect dared to set foot in the devil-devouring swamp. The true devil pool and pure, true devil water in the depths of the swamp became the exclusive property of the Seven Evils sect. Under Hun Sha's lead, a layer of gray spirit light appeared around the bodies of all the Seven Evils sect members, and they floated into the devil-devouring swamp. 15 minutes after the Seven Evils sect members entered the devil-devouring swamp, a burly bald man appeared outside the swamp. Beside his shiny bald head sat a yellow-haired monkey. They did not have any aura and looked like ordinary people. They were Lu Kuan and Xiao Jin, who had come here from the Molten Devil Cave. Lu Kuan stroked his chin and clicked his tongue. I didn't expect the devil-devouring swamp to be a fixed place for the Seven Evils sect to collect pure water. Only their devil chi barrier can hide from the devil-devouring bees. Furthermore, when they use the Yuan Jade pendant to open the seal, they can use the devil chi to isolate their aura. Ji. The little monkey sat on Lu Kuan's shoulder and waved its hands excitedly. Its eyes were filled with hope, and it kept licking its lips. When Lu Kuan heard this, he was stunned at first. Then he scolded with a smile, "You stinky monkey. Back then, when you weren't a demon beast, you always thought about eating honey. Now that you're about to enter level 5, you're still thinking about eating honey." Ji. The little monkey made a gesture with its eyebrows raised in delight. Lu Kuan laughed involuntarily. "You still remember the Crimson Fire royal jelly from the Smart Demon Valley. However, you're right. The royal jelly made by the devil-devouring bees is definitely a rare item." The little monkey pointed in the direction where the Seven Evils sect members had disappeared. It waved its hands and feet and laughed sinisterly. He could not help but laugh. "Haha, I think so too. Xiao Jin, you can hear the wings of the devil-devouring bees. Lead the way. We'll find the nest of the devil-devouring bees first." Ji. Chapter 746. The devil-devouring swamp was filled with towering golden trees. Lu Kuan had learned from the conversation between the Seven Fiends and the Nyo Sengoku's Jade Slip that these trees were called golden demon trees. They had never appeared in the outside world and were unique to the devil-devouring swamp. The demonic cultivator who recorded this Jade Slip had even chopped off some branches of the golden demon trees to study. But to demonic cultivators, the golden demon trees didn't seem to have any value. They couldn't be used to refine tools and didn't contain much demonic chi. They couldn't be used to refine pills either. In a certain area of the devil-devouring swamp, there was a seemingly useless golden demon tree, but all of its branches and protrusions were covered by fist-sized bees. There were at least several thousand bees on this tree. Aside from being slightly larger, these massive bees were no different from ordinary bees. Even their skin color was a mixture of yellow and black, making them seem very ordinary. But if one looked carefully, they would discover that deep within the black compound eyes of these bees, there would occasionally be a blood-red luster that gave off a faint bloodthirsty feeling. These were the terrifying creatures that terrorized many demonic cultivators in the devil-devouring swamp, the devil-devouring bees. These devil-devouring bees covered the bark of the tree. There was a deep black liquid secretion that seeped out from the golden bark. This was the golden demon tree's own resin. All of the devil-devouring bees were collecting this black resin. Besides sucking it into their mouths, they were also storing it in the grooves on their legs. The several thousand devil-devouring bees were extremely fast. In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, They had collected all of the golden demon tree's resin. Then, they flew to the next tree. And several hundred feet away from this swarm of devil-devouring bees, Lu Kuan and the little monkey were in an invisible state, observing the movements of the devil-devouring bees. This is already the third tree. These little fellows should be able to collect one more before returning. Lu Kuan relied on his physical strength to move through the swamp. His speed was extremely fast. Under the guidance of the little monkey, they ran for nearly an hour before they found a swarm of devil-devouring bees deep within the swamp. According to Xiao Jin, he had already left the 7 evil spirits behind him. The 7 of them seemed to be afraid of the appearance of magic, so they didn't dare to fly quickly, so they advanced slowly. After finding the demon-devouring hornets, Lu Kuan and the others secretly observed them from the side. Seeing such a scene, he couldn't help but click his tongue in wonder. It was hard for him to imagine that the terrifying demon-devouring hornets described in the Jade Slip were actually like ordinary bees, obediently collecting tree gum. Lu Kuan was looking forward to seeing what these little bees would become after the mana aura appeared. Of course, he would have to wait for the 7 demons to arrive. The demon-devouring mad bees are sensitive to demonic auras. Xiao Jin, you go into the spirit beast pouch and help me keep an eye on the 7 evil spirits. I'll follow these bees first and find their nest. Hearing Lu Kuan's voice transmission, Xiao Jin nodded obediently and turned into a spirit light, entering the spirit beast pouch. Although Xiao Jin cultivated a body cultivation method and hid all his magic within his body, it was inevitable that he would be discovered by these demon-devouring mad bees at such a close distance. As for Lu Kuan himself, his bones were full of thunder attribute magic power, and blood magic power was crystallized in the depths of his bones, so it was impossible for these demon-devouring mad bees to discover him. After another 15 minutes, the demon-devouring mad bees were full of tree gum and flew into the depths of the swamp. Lu Kuan used a top-level invisibility spell on himself and stepped on the branches and trunks of the golden demon tree, easily following behind. These little bees are collecting tree gum. It seems that the nest is not filled with royal bee honey, but with royal bee gum. Lu Kuan thought curiously as he followed the demon-devouring mad bees closely. As they went deeper into the swamp, more demon-devouring mad bees gradually returned and joined the group. It seemed that they were all out to collect golden demon tree gum. After careful observation along the way, Lu Kuan discovered something different about the demon-devouring mad bees. When he first saw the demon-devouring mad bees, he did not sense any energy aura within their bodies. After using the golden eye ability to continuously observe, he discovered that every demon-devouring mad bee had a unique energy within their bodies. It was somewhat similar to magic power, but not completely the same. He did not know if it was just his imagination, but it was also similar to the power of frost. The special energy within each demon-devouring mad bees was very little. About 10 demon-devouring mad bees added together were barely comparable to a first-grade magic beast. Moreover, Lu Kuan also discovered something strange. Occasionally, a few demon-devouring mad bees would crash into Lu Kuan's invisible body, but they did not seem to have any reaction. They would just shake their heads and continue flying. This phenomenon meant that these demon-devouring mad bees had extremely low intelligence. They were worlds apart from the molten fiend crocodiles that they had encountered before. Therefore, Lu Kuan only maintained his invisibility spell and did not deliberately avoid these bees. Just like this, after going dozens of miles deeper, Lu Kuan's eyes suddenly opened up. The originally dense golden demon trees had suddenly become much fewer. The most eye-catching thing in front of him was a huge golden demon tree that towered into the sky. He estimated that its trunk was at least 20 feet in diameter. Waves of dense demonic chi were emitted from the tree. Huh? Is this the deepest part of the swamp that the 7 evil spirits were searching for? Lu Kuan's eyes shone with a golden light. From 200 feet away, he could clearly see that at the bottom of the huge golden demon tree, there were countless thick golden roots. These roots intertwined and formed a huge tree hole. From the gaps between the roots, he could see a silver-gray light curtain inside, as well as a purplish-black, true demonic chi. Obviously, there was a true demonic pool and pure, true demonic water inside, just like the molten cave. Then Lu Kuan looked around again. Outside this huge golden demon tree was a circular swamp water. There were all kinds of corrosive auras tumbling inside, and there were even many demonic bee skeletons and limbs inside. Outside the circular swamp, there were 4 golden demon trees evenly distributed. Although these 4 trees were smaller than the one in the center, they were still much larger than ordinary golden demon trees. At the bottom of these 4 golden demon trees, there were also small tree holes. The group of devouring demon bees that he was following had flown into one of these tree holes. The 4 tree holes seemed to be the entrances to the nests of the devouring demon bees. There were devouring demon bees flying back from all directions and entering these tree holes. For medium-sized trees surrounding a huge tree, the 4 sides of the nests of the devouring demon bees and the giant golden demon tree in the middle contains the true demonic water. This arrangement seems a little familiar. This thought flashed through Lu Kuan's mind. He quickly walked to the tree hole next to him. Following the many devouring demon bees that had returned to their nests, they walked in together. Inside was a cave that led to the underground. Without hesitation, he jumped down. After falling for about 10 feet, a passage appeared in front of him. This underground passage was large enough for 2 people to pass through. It was filled with moist and pure demonic chi. However, under the influence of the many devouring demon bees, Lu Kuan seemed to feel the aura of another kind of energy. The walls of the passageway were filled with the uneven roots of the golden demon tree, which were mixed together with the smelly black soil. This passage did not diverge. It led directly to the location of the giant golden demon tree. As Lu Kuan moved forward, a dark golden halo gradually appeared in front of him, illuminating the pitch-black passage. After 100 feet, a huge space appeared in front of him. This was a gigantic circular catacomb with a radius of 1,000 feet. The sky above the catacomb was filled with devouring devil bees, densely packed. There were at least hundreds of thousands of them. The buzzing sound of their wings and the dazzling black dots gave people a sense of fear. In the middle of the circular catacombs, there were 4 thick golden tree roots intertwined, forming a pillar that was 3 feet thick, leading straight to the top of the catacombs. On this tree root pillar, there were dozens of dark golden round pancakes hanging, and a strange smell emanated from them. Chapter 747. Surprise appeared on Lu Kuan's face. The spirit beast pouch that sent out the anxious thought wasn't little gold, but 13 mutated nether flying ants. When he was in the mysterious cave in the land of death, he not only captured Corpse Priest, but also snuck into the nest of the nether flying ants and took out several thousand eggs. Later, under the effect of the strong Yin energy in the cocoon and his blood essence, only 13 out of the several thousand nether flying ant eggs successfully hatched. The 13 mutated ants were blessed by nature. They had the strength of a Class 1 high-tier demon beast as soon as they hatched. Although they had lost the ability of the nether flying ants to devour spiritual energy, their strength was extremely great. Especially the biting force of their jaws. It was extremely shocking. If all 13 of them attacked together, they could easily tear apart a Foundation Establishment Cultivator's magic barrier. Because these 13 nether flying ants needed to absorb Yin energy to grow, Lu Kuan had always kept them in the spirit beast pouch along with the broken insect limbs in the land of death. He let them absorb the Yin energy from the insect limbs, hoping that they would advance as soon as possible. Only when these 13 mutated flying ants reached the Class 2 level would they be of some help to Lu Kuan. Unfortunately, after so many years, although the aura of these mutated flying ants had increased by a lot, they were still quite far away from the Class 2 level. Lu Kuan had always left them there and did not order them around. He did not expect that at this time and place, these 13 mutated flying ants would actually transmit a strong desire to him. In this nest of demon-devouring bees, there was a treasure that would be extremely helpful to their advancement. Lu Kuan found a place near the wall where there were fewer demon-devouring bees and squatted down. Through the dense swarm of bees, he carefully observed the tree root pillar in the middle. At the same time, his spirit carefully sensed the information transmitted to him by the flying ants. After a quarter of an hour, Lu Kuan finally confirmed that the dozens of dark golden round cakes hanging on the tree root pillar, emitting a special smell, were the treasures that attracted the mutated flying ants. Judging from the color and aura, it is very similar to the golden demonic gum. It should be the propolis refined by the demon-devouring bees. For such a large swarm of bees, this amount is a bit too little. Could be the queen bee's propolis? By the way, most bee colonies have drones and queens, but I haven't seen any yet. Thinking of this, Lu Kuan slowly crept towards the center. Although he did not think that the devouring demon bees could harm his body, it was better to save himself some trouble. After all, hundreds of thousands of them are quite terrifying. As he moved forward, there were devouring devil bees ramming into his invisible body. The dizzy devouring devil bees did not notice anything and continued to fly. Soon, Lu Kuan arrived at the base of the tree. These 4 roots were like 4 intertwined small trees. At least 3 people were needed to encircle them. The tree roots intertwined with each other, and there were many huge gaps between them. Inside the gaps, there was a black mass of devouring demon bees working diligently. A large number of demon-devouring mad bees continuously spat out the black resin they had collected. In the end, tiny golden dots of light were produced, which they placed in the many grooves that extended from the roots. There was a large amount of golden liquid in these grooves, and at the bottom of each groove, there was a dark golden round cake. Most of the round cakes were only the size of an egg. It was obvious that this propolis was not easy to obtain. Lu Kuan looked at a dark golden round cake that was close at hand. After thinking for a while, he directly grabbed it with his hand and pulled with force, easily plucking it off. So easy? Just as this thought flashed through his mind, a surge of divine sense suddenly gushed out from the pillar in front of him. It seemed to be at the level of the great circle of the core formation realm. Lu Kuan's pupils shrank. He was very surprised by the sudden appearance of this divine sense. It was very difficult for ordinary monsters or demonic beasts to produce divine sense before they reached the 8th level. Even the peak of the 7th level molten demon crocodile next door did not produce divine sense. With Lu Kuan's concealment ability, it was impossible for a core formation realm divine sense to discover his existence. However, the surrounding demon-devouring mad bees would bump into Lu Kuan's invisible body from time to time, exposing his position. After this divine sense appeared, an ear-piercing cry came from the pillar. Then, 5 ferocious bees the size of a human head shot out from the gap between the pillars and rushed toward Lu Kuan's invisible body. These large bees were completely different from the ordinary demon-devouring mad bees. They had sharp and black mandibles, blade-like limbs, red compound eyes, pale golden bodies, and stingers that flashed with a black luster at their tails. At first glance, it was obvious that they were bees born for battle. Moreover, the aura of these 5 bees was astonishing. The unknown energy was very turbulent, and they were at least at the 5th or 6th level of demonic beasts. Since Lu Kuan had been discovered, he might as well dispel his invisibility technique. He waved his thick palm and swatted the 5 ferocious bees away, as if he was swatting flies. The huge force even made the bees dizzy. They couldn't even fly steadily, and one of them even fell to the ground. Although Lu Kuan easily dealt with a few powerful drones, he was already covered by countless devouring demon bees in the blink of an eye. Lu Kuan was agile and dodged extremely quickly. However, in this cave filled with hundreds of thousands of demon-devouring mad bees, he was still surrounded by them like a bee-man. Amidst the buzzing of the wings, there was a continuous crisp knocking sound. These demon-devouring mad bees attached to Lu Kuan's body treated his body as the golden demon tree. They used their mandibles and limbs to attack wildly, and even tried to suck some energy from Lu Kuan's body. However, they were destined to waste their energy. Even if the demon-devouring mad bees could absorb the lightning attribute dermic powers in Lu Kuan's body, they would have to at least stab their mandibles and limbs into his bones. However, these mindless mad bees couldn't even pierce through Lu Kuan's outermost skin, let alone his bones. Lu Kuan ignored the demon-devouring mad bees. He leaped up and took away the dark golden pancakes on the pillar one by one. Half of them were stored in his storage bag, and the rest were thrown into the mutated flying ant spirit beast bag. These mutated flying ants immediately devoured the dark golden propolis in a frenzy in the spirit beast bag. At the same time, they continued to transmit their desire to Lukuin. Strange, there's still something good. The demon-devouring mad bees outside my body have become my defense. Those 5 bees didn't continue to attack. Let me see what other treasures there are. Lukuin shook his body to shake off some of the demon-devouring mad bees. Through his eyelids and the bodies of the bees, he activated his golden eyes ability to observe carefully. With this observation, he indeed found something else in the pillar. He leaped lightly and landed in the middle of the pillar. His feet hooked onto the roots, and he stretched out his hands towards the gap between the pillars, as if he wanted to fish for something. 2 ear-piercing sounds of metal clashing rang out. Lukuin quickly retracted his hands. The demon-devouring mad bees on his fists had already disappeared, and in their place were 2 even larger bees. These 2 bees had extremely dense auras, as if they were level 7 magical beasts. Their mandibles were tightly biting onto Lukuin's fists. The sound of metal clashing was the sound of their biting. As Lukuin retracted his fists, the 2 level 7 bees stuck out their abdomens, and their dark tails stabbed towards his fists. With a squelch, his tough skin didn't provide any defense, and his palms were easily pierced. Lukuin let out a muffled groan, as if his attack had caused him some damage. However, his reaction was very fast. He quickly opened his fists, and with a flip of his palms, he pinched the heads of the bees. With a flash of light from his fingernails, the 2 level 7 bees were decapitated. These bees were extremely powerful. If they were facing an ordinary cultivator, their mandibles could tear through the mana shield of a great circle core formation cultivator, and the venom of their stingers could destroy a cultivator's dharma body. Under a sneak attack, no core formation cultivator would be able to escape. Unfortunately, they were facing Lukuin. The joints of their heads and bodies were their weak points. Under the effect of Lukuin's terrifying strength and the bone treasures in his fingers, their heads were forcefully torn off in a single exchange. They were no longer breathing. After killing the 2 high-ranked drones, Lukuin's arms surged with a tremendous amount of blood and chi. 2 streams of extremely stinky black blood spurted out from his palms, and the bodies of the devouring devil bees that were splashed by the blood all turned into smoke. The venom of these bees' stingers was extremely intense. Lukuin's expression didn't change. After killing the level 7 bees, his hands continued to reach into the gaps between the tree roots. At the same time, the muscles in his arms bulged, as if he was about to exert force. Suddenly, the powerful wave of divine will appeared again. Lord Demon, I am willing to submit. Please don't kill me. Chapter 748. Lukuin retracted his arm from the gap between the tree roots and the pillars. Between his hands, he was tightly holding a big, fat golden insect. Its fat abdomen was almost the size of a human's arm. His hands were full of blue veins, and it seemed as if they could crush its abdomen at any time. The fat insect had a pair of palm-sized transparent wings on its back. Its 4 pairs of tiny legs were constantly swinging, as if it was not used to flying in the air. The front end of the fat insect was the head of a bee, half the size of a fist. Above its small pitch-black compound eyes, there were 2 golden tentacles swaying endlessly. The divine sense of a peak Jidon expert was transmitted from this small head. When Lukuin used his golden eyes to check the pillars, he found that in addition to some insect eggs and devouring devil bees, there was also a completely different fat insect. If its abdomen was shrunk by 10 times, it would barely look like a queen bee. Lukuin looked at the fat insect in his hand and narrowed his eyes. Little fat insect, why did you call me a demon? The fat insect transmitted its divine sense and said with a hint of flattery, Sir, you must be joking. You can contend with a 7th level drone guard with your body. You must be at least an 8th level demon general. Lukuin frowned but did not refute. Instead, he coldly said, Little insect, you are in Iyuan's secret territory. What is your relationship with Iyuan school? There was a hint of hatred hidden in his words. At the same time, he tightened his grip a bit. The fat insect was frightened, and its small head issued a sharp cry of pain. Its divine sense violently surged. Sir Demon General, you misunderstood. This little insect has nothing to do with Yuan School. This little insect has the bloodline of the Dark Insect clan. In ancient times, we were allies. Yuan School is our common enemy. When Lu Kuan heard the two words nether insect, he didn't know why, but he immediately thought of the nether flying ants in his spirit beast pouch, the many insect limbs he saw in a land of death, and the insect cocoon that was filled with energy. He looked slightly surprised, but the strength in his hands did not decrease. He said coldly, "Little fat worm, don't lie to me. It's been so many years. How can a little guy like you still have some left?" The fat on Fat Worm's belly trembled as he said, "My lord, this little bug accidentally awakened my bloodline inheritance 600 years ago. That's why I obtained some memories. In my memories, only the strongest demon generals have a body like yours." Lu Kuan's eyebrows relaxed slightly, and the muscles on his arms relaxed slightly. Then, he grabbed the fat worm's neck with one hand and brought it back to the ground. "So you're saying that you're the king of the demon-devouring bees here?" Fat Bug was surprised, devouring devil bees. Our swarm should be called Dark Abyss bees, but there have been some changes over the years. Calling them demon-devouring mad bees is quite appropriate. However, my lord, I'm a level 7 nether insect queen. The Insect King is the title given to the high-level experts of the nether insect race. Lu Kuan said calmly, "What is an insect queen? I only know about the Insect King." Fat Worm asked curiously, "My lord, you don't know? The Insect Queen is the ruler of the swarm. As long as I send out a thought, I can control the entire swarm. Furthermore, if I have enough energy, I can expand the swarm." Lu Kuan pondered for a moment. A bright light flashed in his hand, and a dark golden round cake appeared in his hand. He asked, "This is the queen bee glue made by your swarm? What is it used for?" The feelers on Fat Worm's head unconsciously tangled together, and his divine sense fluctuated. "You don't even know what it's used for, yet you still want to take it all." The demon race was indeed the same as the bloodline memories, cruel, vulgar, and unreasonable. Compared to the noble nether insect race, they were a far cry. But when it felt the terrifying strength of the hand on its neck, it felt like it could be decapitated with just a thought. Fat Worm had no choice but to answer honestly. "This queen bee glue is made from the demon trees, demon tree. Other than being able to replenish my energy for laying eggs, it can also increase the strength of the drone guards." Fat Worm's compound eyes flickered, and it sighed. "Unfortunately, there is a unique restriction in this secret realm. I don't dare to overuse it and reach the level of an insect general. Otherwise, I will definitely be killed by the strange restriction here." Then, Fat Worm's compound eyes sneaked a glance at Lu Kuan, and it asked carefully, "How did this demon lord come in?" The secret realm doesn't seem to be able to accommodate higher-level beings. Lu Kuan raised his eyebrows, and his face turned gloomy. "I, the Dark Demon King, have always been hiding among the human cultivators. There is no need for me to tell you, little bug." The antennae on the Fat Worm's head swayed, as if it was very shocked, and its tone became very respectful. "You are the Demon King. To be able to meet the Demon King, this little bug is really lucky." Lu Kuan's eyes were a bit strange. This little bug's intelligence was far beyond his imagination. Not only did it know how to flatter, it also changed the topic from the queen bee glue to his origin. It was clear that the nether insect race was not simple. Lu Kuan put away the dark gold queen bee glue in his hand. He knew that this fat worm was not telling the truth, so he asked again, "You just said demon tree glue? Is it the black liquid secreted by the golden demon tree? What is the difference between it and demon chi?" As he said this, he also observed this fat worm. He found that there was a similar energy in its body as the devouring demon bees around it. However, its energy, the demon chi, was more obvious. Fat Worm shook its abdomen and said with difficulty, "Demon General, can you put me down? My head is light and my abdomen is heavy. I can't breathe." "I can't." "Well, okay." The fat worm gave up struggling and hesitated for a moment, then said, "Speaking of demon tree glue, I have to say that this is the Yuan secret territory. You should know the purpose of the Yuan school." Lu Kuan sneered in his heart. This fat worm was obviously testing his identity. After all, he had revealed his magical power, not his demon chi. Fortunately, he had already known this problem from He Sha. He said lightly, "The Yuan school set up the Yuan secret territory in order to study the cultivation methods of our race, so that immortal cultivators can practice demon chi. At the same time, they also tried to purify the true demon pond water of our race. They want to obtain a large amount of true demon pond water that has lost its true demon chi, so that demon chi cultivators can enter the spirit severing stage." Then Lu Kuan showed a disdainful look and said, "Yuan school is wasting their efforts. Even if they can purify some true demon pond water, it is not enough. You should know that the demon kings of our race have to soak in the true demon pond water to break through. They can only drink it as water, but if they soak in it, I don't know how many years they will have to collect it." After listening to Lu Kuan's words, the fat worm was even more certain that he was from the demon race. Its tone became more respectful, and it said, "Sire is right. This demon tree gum is a byproduct of a Yuan school's purification of true demon pond water." Purification of true demon pond water? The fat worm's antennae swayed incessantly. Yes, Sire should have seen the true demon pond and the pure, true demon pond water outside, as well as the appearance of the entire swamp. Lu Kuan nodded. The fat worm said, "The golden demon trees here are Yuan school's imitation of our race's sacred objects. A large number of golden demon trees form a huge array inside the swamp, and each golden demon tree is a node of the array." Lu Kuan's heart moved, and he paid attention to the word sacred object. The power of the array here is constantly flowing the true demon pond water from the center of the swamp to the underground soil of the swamp, and then it is absorbed and transformed by the golden demon trees, purifying the true demon pond water. Many byproducts are discharged by the golden demon trees. For example, the black smoke emitted from the top of the golden demon trees contains the true demon pond water. The fat worm paused for a moment and called several devouring devil bees covered in black secretion, and continued. Chapter 749. Lu Kuan's heart skipped a beat. This fat insect knew about the power of Yin, so he guessed that the energy of the dark insect clan was most likely the power of Yin. He immediately said, "Yuan's secret territory has existed for tens of thousands of years, and you've been collecting all this time? Could it be that the death of Golden Demon Tree had a great impact on you?" Fat Insect Spirit's sense was filled with anger and helplessness. "Ever since I awakened the dark insect bloodline, I discovered that the souls of us dark bees have fused with this swamp array. We have become something like an array spirit. If the array completely fails, we will die. This is definitely the work of Yuan school." Lu Kuan stared at the fat insect's compound eyes and said, "The energy in your body is somewhat strange. In addition to the power of Yin, there seems to be the aura of demon power. Is this the reason?" "This," Fat Insect suddenly stammered. Lu Kuan's hands gradually tightened, and his eyes revealed a ruthless look. "You've exposed yourself. From the energy in your body, I can tell that you're not a real dark insect. Maybe you're a spirit insect raised by Yuan school. You should know that this king has barely gained magical power after seizing the body of a cultivator." Fat Insect's several pairs of small legs twitched rapidly, and its spirit sense panicked. "Sir, listen to me. I really am from the Dark Insect clan, an ally of the demon race." Lu Kuan slightly loosened his grip. Fat Insect hurriedly said, "Sir, it's like this. We were originally the purest dark insects, dark bees. Our bodies were also filled with Yin energy, but after we collected the Yin demon tree gum and took this special bee gum, the Yin energy in our bodies gradually changed and became a kind of energy similar to demon power. Moreover, we can also absorb demon power." When Lu Kuan heard this sentence, he immediately grasped two big pieces of information. The first piece of information was that he guessed right. The Yin energy was really the energy of the Dark Insect clan, and the Yin energy in their bodies belonged to the Dark Insect clan. In this way, he understood many things. Previously, in a land of death at the border of Wei Chu, the various insect limbs and pupae that contained Yin energy were all from the Nether Insect clan, and the ancient restriction in the land of death should have been set up against the Nether Insect clan. All kinds of zombies also had cold Yin energy in their bodies, which probably had something to do with the Nether Insect race. The Nether flying ants in a spirit beast pouch were clearly a type of Nether insect. The second message. After consuming the queen bee glue for a long period of time, the dark nether wasps, which originally had the power of Yin, had undergone a change in the energy within their bodies. It had become an energy that coexisted with the power of Yin and magic. They could even absorb magic chi to cultivate. This situation was very similar to the devil cultivators among the immortal cultivators. Originally, cultivators could only absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth to cultivate magical power. However, the devil path cultivation method developed by Yuan school could cultivate magical power. Although the efficiency of absorbing devil chi was higher, it could also absorb spiritual chi and transform it. Clearly, the greatest use of the royal bee gum was to change the energy in the netherworm's body, allowing it to absorb demonic chi for cultivation. A series of conjectures flashed through his mind. Lu Kuan did not forget his role as a devil. His face revealed a look of shock. Impossible. Yuan school spent so much effort to allow cultivators to cultivate demonic chi. How could a mere insect absorb demonic chi? The fat insect's antennae swayed incessantly. Lord Devil King, the golden demon tree was made by Yuan school by imitating our race's sacred relic. The greatest use of our race's sacred relic is to allow the Nether Insect clan to absorb other types of energy. The royal bee gum contains some components of our race's sacred relic. It's not surprising that it can absorb other types of energy. When Lu Kuan heard this, he finally understood why the mutated flying ants in the spirit beast pouch desire the royal bee gum so much. It turned out that the refined royal bee gum contained the aura of the Nether Insect sacred relic. However, other than the royal bee gum, what else could attract the mutated flying ants? And what kind of treasure was this Nether Insect sacred relic? It could actually convert different types of energy. Putting these doubts in his heart, Lu Kuan planned to go back and ask the Black Fiend Demon Soul. He definitely knew about the Nether Insect clan. The little insect in front of him had awakened its bloodline inheritance and was very treacherous. What it said might not be reliable. He was very interested in this Nether Insect sacred relic that could convert energy. One must know that his blood demon bone refining art relied on magic power and demonic chi to produce destructive force to temper the body. This Nether Insect sacred relic might inspire his bone refining art. Moreover, the conversation with this fat insect allowed Lu Kuan to learn many secrets. The devouring devil swamp was a huge magic array. The golden demon tree was the node of the magic array. The devouring devil bees were part of the magic array's spirit. They regulated the golden demon tree and used the unique structure of the golden demon tree to allow the swamp to continuously produce pure, true demon water. The layout of the lava catacombs was similar to the swamp in front of him. The core of the magic array in the devouring devil swamp was 4 golden demon trees surrounding a huge tree. In the lava catacombs, there were 4 lava pools surrounding the true demon water. The lava catacombs probably used the high temperature of the lava to purify the true demon intent. It was also connected to the first and second level of the secret realm. It was definitely a profound magic array. Even the existence of the lava demon crocodile was similar to the devouring devil bees. It had a special function to maintain the magic array. Lord Demon King, please be gentle. I'm about to be squeezed to death. Lu Kuan came back to his senses and found that the eyes of the fat insect in his hand were a little red. Clearly, he had unconsciously clenched his fists and squeezed it. He simply let go of his hands. The fat insect couldn't react in time and fell to the ground. Lu Kuan said indifferently, "Your Imperial Bee glue has a special function. I'll take it all." The fat insect operated the special energy in its body and flapped its small wings. It flew up with some difficulty and said flatteringly, "Take it as a gift from this lowly one to Lord." I don't know if Lord has any other orders. Lu Kuan asked, You've lived for many years. The pure true demon water here is taken away every 300 years. Do you know that? The fat insect shook its body in the air and said angrily, Of course I know, but there's no way to stop it. This damn Yuan sect, every 300 years, the power of the magic array here will increase dramatically. As the mother insect, I can't leave this cave. Under the pressure of the magic array, the children outside the cave can't be controlled. They can only act on instinct. I don't know what kind of skill the cultivators outside have to collect the true demon water. They didn't leak any aura, so my children can't detect it. Lu Kuan suddenly understood. He was still wondering why the Seven Fiend sect was able to collect the pure, true demon water when there was such a highly intelligent insect and many high-level drones at the bottom of the cave. So this was the reason. He smiled and said, Little fat insect, those guys who collected the true demon water have already entered the swamp. They used evil chi to isolate their aura. The devouring devil bees can't sense them. This time, I'm here, so they won't be able to get the true demon water so easily. The fat insect seemed to understand something and immediately said, This little insect will listen to Lord Devil King's instructions. Lu Kuan nodded with satisfaction and said, Very good. Dealing with those people is very simple. You just need to release all the devouring devil bees in this cave when I send a signal. The fat insect agreed. The people outside are easy to deal with, but little fat insect, what other treasures do you have in this cave? Take them out and let me see. Chapter 750. Everyone, be careful. The two tree holes nearby are the nests of the demon-devouring bees. You must maintain the primary fiendish barrier and not leak any demonic aura. Otherwise, against such a large number of demon-devouring bees, we can only use the secret technique of the seven fiendish true devil technique. Han Sha's expression was solemn as he transmitted his voice to the others. The demon-devouring bees do not have intelligence. As long as we don't leak any demonic aura, they will not react to our actions. At this moment, the seven fiends had already arrived at the deepest part of the demon-devouring swamp. They were standing between the two nests. From time to time, many demon-devouring bees would collide with the primary fiendish barrier. In front of them was the ring-shaped swamp water and the giant golden demon tree. From this position, the seven fiends could already see the tree hole below and the silver-gray restriction light screen inside. Be careful of controlling the demonic aura in your body. Do not exceed my speed. After Han Sha finished speaking, he slowly floated forward. The magic power of a core formation cultivator allowed them to fly. He only needed to use a little demonic aura to maintain his floating state. Under the isolation of the primary fiendish barrier, the demonic aura was very well concealed. The other six followed closely behind. In a while, we will follow the method taught by the seniors in the sect. The five of us will work together to set up a large-scale primary fiendish barrier. We will maximize its ability to conceal aura and envelop the true devil pool in the middle. It will temporarily conceal the aura of the true devil chi. The other two will activate the Yuan Jade pendant to collect the water of the true devil. After that, we will change the primary fiendish barrier and cross the demon-devouring swamp. We will reach the central mountain range as soon as possible. Yes, senior brother. The distance of over 2,000 feet was quickly covered. The seven fiends directly entered the tree hole under the golden demon tree. The giant golden demon tree had a diameter of over 200 feet. The tree hole below appeared rather spacious with the extension of the thick tree roots. In the seven fiends' observation, there was only a silver-gray light screen standing in the middle. Inside the light screen was the true devil pool that was 10 feet wide. It was surrounded by various runes and was connected to a jade basin. There was a small amount of black liquid in the jade basin. It seemed like it was only enough to fill a small bowl. Han Sha looked at the pure water of the true devil within the restriction with a burning gaze. He slowly said, Earth Fiend and Water, prepare to activate the primary fiendish barrier. The rest of you, follow me. Then, He looked at the purplish-black mist above the true demon pool and said seriously, "Earth Fiend, slow down when you absorb the water of the true devil. Don't attract the true devil chi over. With the power of our consciousness, even if it's the true devil will and the true devil chi, it will be very difficult for us to resist it." Earth Fiend said solemnly, "Don't worry, boss. I know very well how terrifying true devil intent is." With that, the tall Earth Fiend and a slender, beautiful female cultivator walked out and stood outside the silver-gray light screen. The other 5 formed a circle and formed hand seals one by one, causing the gray spirit light outside their bodies to gradually expand and connect with each other. Soon, the 5 gray protective spirit lights merged into a large semicircular shield, enveloping everyone and the silver-gray restriction inside. Seeing this, the Earth Fiend and Water Fiend removed the Origin Fiend shield around their bodies, and each took out a first Yuan Jade pendant. They injected their demonic chi into it. Under the effect of the Jade pendant's spiritual light, the light barrier dissipated, revealing the true demon pool water and the Jade basin beside it. At this moment, not only the Earth Fiend, but the other 7 fiends were also nervous. They looked at the purplish-black demonic chi above the true demon pool water with wary eyes. The Earth Fiend held the first Yuan Jade pendant in one hand and took out a jade bottle with the other. He activated his demonic chi, and the black liquid in the jade basin turned into a thin stream that slowly flowed into the jade bottle. Under the Earth Fiend's control, the nearby true devil chi was not attracted. The jade bottle's absorption speed was very slow. This bowl of black liquid, which originally needed 3 breaths of time, was extended to 30 or 40 breaths. As the last drop of black liquid was absorbed into the jade bottle, the Earth Fiend looked at the true devil chi that was still far away from him with lingering fear and heaved a sigh of relief. But at this moment, an extremely ear-piercing scream turned into an invisible wave that spread out from the top of the tree hole. It easily passed through the Origin Fiend shield and landed on the 7 people below. The eyes of the 7 fiends protruded as their eardrums burst. At this moment, they felt as though countless needles were stabbing into their brains, stirring their brains. They could not help but cover their ears. At the same time, a black sledgehammer fell from the sky and slammed into the Origin Fiend shield formed by the 5 people. A massive force penetrated through and easily tore apart the Origin Fiend shield that isolated their auras. Following that, the black sledgehammer continued to smash towards the Earth Fiend. After the Earth Fiend was attacked by the scream, he did not cover his ears. His eyes were bloodshot as he clenched his fists tightly. He seemed to be able to control his demonic chi. A 3-clawed metal hook flew out from his body. It was covered in gray light as a soul-sucking sound spread out in all directions, alleviating the pain in everyone's heads. With the help of the soul-sucking sound, although the Earth Fiend's head was still in pain, he could control his demonic chi. A small yellow round shield flew out of his body and emitted a heavy aura. It faced the terrifying black sledgehammer that made him feel the aura of death. It was the Earth Fiend's natal treasure, the Kuei Earth Shield that was known for its defense. Why did it disappear? The Earth Fiend had just unleashed the Kuei Earth Shield when he realized that the black sledgehammer had disappeared. Following that, he seemed to have thought of something and immediately activated his demonic chi in an attempt to release a demonic chi shield to protect himself. However, just as he activated his demonic chi, he felt that his hands were empty. A burly bald man appeared beside him. He was playing with the jade bottle that contained the pure, true demonic water. "You're trying to snatch food from the tiger's mouth. You're courting death." The Earth Fiend was the first to recover as he let out a loud roar. The 3-clawed metal hook glowed in gray light. Along with the soul-sucking sound that was getting louder, it charged towards the bald man. "Pah!" The powerful 3-clawed iron hook was directly grabbed by the bald man. His thick palms seemed to be filled with explosive power as he tightly gripped the bottom of the iron hook artifact. He clicked his tongue and said, "What a special treasure. It actually has the ability to attack divine consciousness. Could it be that you're the Earth Fiend from the 7 Fiends?" The Earth Fiend's bloodshot eyes were filled with disbelief. It was obvious that the other party's method of holding the treasure with his bare hands had exceeded his imagination. The demonic chi in the Earth Fiend's body was tumbling. However, no matter how he activated it, his natal treasure, the soul-swaying hook, could not escape from the other party's palm other than trembling a few times. Fortunately, the Earth Fiend was not fighting alone. The other 7 fiends recovered one after another and activated their respective treasures to attack. Meanwhile, the Earth Fiend's small round shield and the Water Fiend's jade bracelet treasures shot out several yellow-blue spiritual lights respectively. They formed 2 new defensive shields around everyone. Haha, just in time. A spiritual light flashed in the bald man's hand, and he kept the jade bottle into his storage bag. He held the soul-swaying hook with both hands and used it as his weapon. He waved it rapidly in front of him as fast as lightning and formed several claw shadows. Dang, 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 dang. There were several crisp sounds of collision. A few treasures and weapons were sent flying one after another. However, after these few attacks, the soul-swaying hook also took the opportunity to break away, quickly combining with the golden longsword, the green dagger, the red spear, and the black whip to form a strange halberd. The sword and dagger became side blades respectively. The spear was the main body and the black whip was wrapped around it. The 3-clawed metal hook was connected to the other weapons at the front of the halberd. A surge of pressure soared into the sky and slashed towards the bald man. When the bald man saw this scene, his eyes flashed with curiosity. He had no intention of dodging the combined treasures. Instead, he blasted out with his fists. Chapter 751. Seeing that the bald man was sent flying, many of the 7 evil spirits relaxed. The Earth Fiend said with lingering fear, "Boss, what kind of monster is this person? He can actually grab your soul-swaying hook with his bare hands." And that power almost made my brain explode. Hun Sha gritted his teeth. No matter who he is, he has to pay the price for snatching food from the tiger's mouth. The surrounding devouring devil bees have already sensed our fluctuations. Let's continue attacking and let him attract some of the devouring devil bees. This damn bald man. His physical defense is so strong that it makes one's hair stand on end. His attack power is also very strong. But after we combine our 5 artifacts, we have the power of a matured artifact. We can definitely hurt him. Hun Sha looked at the Earth Fiend and said, "Earth Fiend, you and the Water Fiend are in charge of defense. Guard against this person's screams. The rest of you follow me to control the combined artifact." While the few of them were communicating with their telepathic thoughts, the combined sky piercer chased after the bald man. This bald man was naturally Lu Kuan, who had been lying in ambush in the tree hole for a long time. He looked at his bloody fists and his eyes revealed a surprised light. I didn't expect the 7 evil spirits artifact to be a combined inlaid artifact. With the 5 artifacts inlaid and connected, their power has increased to the level of a matured artifact. A whistling sound rang out as the halberd shot towards him menacingly. Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with excitement. He laughed heartily and said, "All right, let's see if your inlaid artifact is stronger or my bone artifact is stronger." As he spoke, Lu Kuan's thunder elemental mana began to surge. Rays of purple light began to emanate from his body. Even though he was only in the middle stage of the core formation stage, the aura he exuded was no weaker than the heavenly halberd that was shooting towards him. Dang, 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 dang. The moment the man and the sky piercer collided, there was a series of clashing sounds. Lu Kuan clenched his fists. The second knuckle of his index finger bent and protruded out of his fists. His fists were like 2 sharp all-artifacts. They hammered the center of the sky piercer's front end, where the soul-swaying hook was connected to the sword and saber. At the same time, the knees of his legs and elbows of his arms glowed with a purple light. As his fists attacked, they continuously struck the body of the sky piercer, which was formed by the blood fiend whip and the fire cloud spear. The power of the sky piercer's attack couldn't be displayed at all under the frenzied attacks of Lu Kuan's bones and joints. The attacking speed of the 2 sides were simply not on the same level. No matter how hard the 7 evil spirits tried, they couldn't even make a single chop with the halberd. They could only be suppressed in midair. At this time, The 7 evil spirits were very aggrieved. The feeling of being unable to use their strength lingered in their hearts. However, other than circulating their magic power and increasing the power of their combined magic weapons, they had no other countermeasures for the time being. Lu Kuan's attack style was really beyond their expectations. Rumble, invisible shockwaves from the attacks spread out in all directions, accompanied by the sounds of intense collisions. The nearby small groups of devouring demon bees that were attracted by the exposed aura were sent flying in droves, and the swamp below was also in a mess. The more Lu Kuan attacked, the more excited he became. He used both his hands and feet, and any part of his body with bones became his weapon of attack. After entering the middle stage of the Bone Treasure Realm, his bones could completely withstand the recoil of his terrifying strength. Moreover, the various joints of his bones, under the support of 300,000 kilograms of brute force, could break through the surface with a single point, and the attack power was incomparably terrifying. The power that the Sky Piercer tried to condense couldn't be released at all under Lu Kuan's continuous attacks. In just a dozen breaths, the Sky Piercer suffered dozens of magic weapon-level attacks. Boom! After receiving such intensive attacks, the Sky Piercer finally couldn't take it anymore. It let out a wail, and the various colors of light on it became chaotic. With a loud bang, it dispersed and turned back into 5 magic weapons. The Golden Demon Sword, the Withered Wood Saber, the Fire Cloud Spear, the Soul-Shaking Hook, and the Blood Fiend Whip. These magic weapons flickered with spiritual light, as if their spirituality was damaged. After they were dispersed, they quickly retreated and entered the tree hole. Lu Kuan's mana surged and repaired the flesh that was damaged by the attacks. He licked his lips and said, "Such a unique combination of magic weapons. It seems like the harvest this time is not small." Following Lu Kuan's words, the buzzing in the air became louder and louder. A black swarm of devouring demon bees flew over from all directions, covering the sky. There were at least hundreds of thousands of them. With such a number, any demonic cultivator would feel incomparable despair. Inside the tree hole, Hunsha looked at the slightly dimmed soul-swaying hook in front of him, and his expression was extremely ugly. Damn it, what kind of abijna does this guy cultivate? He emits lightning elemental mana of the middle stage of the core formation realm, but his combat power is so terrifying. He used his physical strength to destroy our combination magic weapon, and the abijna emitted by my soul-swaying hook can't affect his consciousness. Earth Fiend swallowed a mouthful of saliva and said, "Big brother, let's retreat. The devouring demon bees outside are about to enter." Hunsha nodded solemnly. "All right, let's work together to cast a secret technique. Saving our lives is more important." Then, the 7 fiends formed a circular square formation, and each of them formed a mysterious spell. The 7 of them overflowed with demonic power and gradually connected together. 7 fiends unite, nascent soul realm power. As the spell was completed, a shocking pressure exploded from their bodies. Everyone's demonic aura turned grayish-black, and then the grayish-black demonic aura enveloped the 7 of them. They turned into streaks of light and shot out from the other side of the tree hole. Through the previous exchange, the 7 fiends knew that with Lu Kuan's terrifying physical body, he could definitely resist the devouring demon bees here. In such an environment, it was best for them to retreat. The 7 fiends rode on their nascent soul realm streaks of light and charged into the swarm of devouring demon bees. Due to the sudden increase in their demonic aura, all the devouring demon bees swarmed towards them. The fist-sized devouring demon bees used their mandibles and limbs to frantically devour the grayish-black demonic aura around the 7 fiends, causing their speed to decrease. Even so, their flying speed was far beyond that of ordinary core formation realm cultivators. Soon, the 7 fiends arrived at the edge of the swarm of bees. The grayish-black demonic aura around their bodies was only slightly devoured. Clearly, in the face of a nascent soul realm protective aura, the devouring demon bees' devouring speed was very slow, even with their numbers. You can't escape. Just when the 7 fiends felt that they had hope of escaping, Lu Kuan's tall and sturdy figure suddenly appeared in front of them, outside of the swarm of devouring demon bees. How is this possible? This guy is faster than us. He was on the other side of the tree hole just a moment ago. Lu Kuan ignored the seven fiends' astonishment. His entire body emitted a dazzling light. He clenched his fists and transformed into a human-shaped magic weapon. He directly rushed towards the seven fiends' grayish-black flying light. The flying speed of a mid-stage bone treasure was comparable to a nascent soul realm cultivator. Coupled with Lu Kuan's 300,000 gene of strength, the explosive force produced was immeasurable. Bang! A loud sound rang out. The seven fiends' flying light was directly blasted back by Lu Kuan's brute force. They were once again surrounded by the swarm of devouring demon bees. However, Lu Kuan seemed to have also received a backlash from the flying light. His entire body was sent flying for over 10 feet before he could barely maintain his figure. Lu Kuan looked at his hands in shock. He saw that the light on his fists had slightly dimmed. The skin and flesh of his hands that had been repaired had once again ruptured. His eyes revealed a look of surprise. This is the demonic power of a nascent soul realm cultivator. Just the power of a nascent soul realm cultivator's protective aura is so powerful. Just now, when he bombarded the seven fiends' nascent soul realm protective aura, a terrifying demonic power surged into his hands. It instantly melted most of the magic power in his hands, causing the power of his fists to greatly decrease. He was forced back by the backlash. Chapter 752. It seems that the body of a mid-stage bone treasure is still unable to compete with a nascent soul stage cultivator. Lu Kuan sighed. Then, a black light flashed in his hand, and the heaven hammer appeared in his hand. The bone treasure contains mana, which is why it was destroyed by the power of a nascent soul stage cultivator. The heaven hammer was activated by my brute force, and is also a weapon used by the demon clan. The power of a nascent soul stage cultivator should not be able to affect it. The seven evil spirits not far away took advantage of Lu Kuan's daze and flew in another direction, trying to rush out of the swarm of bees again. Seeing this, Lu Kuan snorted coldly. The light in his body shone brightly, and his entire body turned into a human-shaped lightning. With an astonishing speed, he bypassed the dense swarm of bees and rushed in the direction where the seven evil spirits escaped. The seven evil spirits who were paying attention saw the scene of Lu Kuan's rapid escape. They all looked as if they had seen a ghost. They were still wondering how Lu Kuan was able to intercept them so quickly. Now, they completely understood. Lu Kuan's speed had completely reached the level of a nascent soul stage cultivator. He was much faster than them in the swarm of bees. Hun Sha's face darkened. The devouring demonic bees' devouring speed is not fast, and their demonic power is still sufficient. Previously, our matured magic treasures were not this guy's match. Let's activate the fusion of the seven treasures. I don't believe that this guy can withstand a nascent soul stage attack. Yes, senior brother. The magic treasures of the seven evil spirits flew out from their bodies one by one. Various spiritual lights of different colors resonated with each other and combined together to form a brand new heavenly halberd. Compared to the previous heavenly halberd, there was the addition of the earth spirit's Kuei 2 shield and the water spirit's water jade ring. The Kuei 2 shield protected the front of the heavenly halberd where the soul-swaying hook was, while the water jade ring held the golden demon sword and the withered wood blade. At this moment, the heavenly halberd's aura was much stronger than before. Its entire body had turned grayish-black. If Lu Kuan bombarded the inlaid nodes again, it would not be so easy to break it apart. The brand-new grayish-black Fontion halberd was hidden within the seven fiends' escape light. When they once again arrived at the edge of the swarm of devil-eater bees, this seven-treasured weapon charged straight at Lu Kuan, who was wielding a black hammer. The halberd's speed increased explosively, and like an arrow, it arrived in front of Lu Kuan in the blink of an eye. Lu Kuan's pupils constricted. He didn't notice the seven evil spirits' brand-new Fontion halberd through the nascent soul-level barrier. However, he did not panic. When he killed the seven fiends' sex disciple in the first layer of the secret realm, He had encountered the Seven Fiends Sect's disciples' secret technique of combining 7 weapons into one. He knew that the Seven Fiends Sect's disciple had the same technique. Lu Kuan felt the aggressive attack of the grayish-black sky halberd, as well as the terrifying pressure unique to the nascent soul stage, and had no intention of dodging at all. He held the heaven hammer with both hands, and the blood essence and magic power in his body surged. His arms directly expanded by several times, and the veins on his arms were like coiling green snakes, twisting endlessly. His muscles crisscrossed like steel bars, and his arms appeared incomparably ferocious. In the face of a nascent soul stage attack, Lu Kuan directly used the connecting arms theurgy, and his strength increased to 450,000 kilograms. He felt the surging power in his arms, and he couldn't help but raise his head to the sky and let out a long howl. He raised the heaven hammer and smashed it forward. Boom! A loud sound rang out. The surrounding air solidified, and then an invisible aftershock spread out in all directions. The scattered Devil Eater bees near Lu Kuan were directly shattered by the aftershock of this attack. The Devil Eater bees could resist attacks of magic power, but in the face of this pure aftershock of power, their bodies were completely helpless. In the center of this aftershock of power, the sky halberd and the heaven hammer were in a deadlock. Lu Kuan's face flushed, and his arms trembled slightly. The sky halberd also seemed to be shaken by the terrifying force, and the gray light on it flickered erratically. But after only a few seconds of deadlock, Lu Kuan and his hammer were repelled. However, the sky halberd didn't seem to be in a good condition either, and it staggered a few times in the air. It seemed that it only had a slight advantage against Lu Kuan's attack. Haha! As expected, the heaven hammer isn't affected by the power of a nascent soul stage. 450,000 kilograms of strength. Even if it's not at the nascent soul stage, it's not too far off. Lu Kuan laughed loudly, shook his thick arms, and rushed forward again with the heaven hammer, continuing to clash with the grayish-black sky halberd. When the 7 evil spirits combined their 5 treasures, the sky halberd had the power of a mature magic treasure. Now that the 7 treasures were combined, and with the help of nascent soul stage magic power, it completely displayed the power of an early nascent soul stage magic treasure. But this kind of attack still couldn't completely defeat Lu Kuan, who was using the Omni-Arm Divine ability and wielding the Heaven Hammer. When the 7 evil spirits used this level of attack, they couldn't continue to fly and could only hover in the air at the edge of the swarm. Behind them, a large number of Devil Eater bees' compound eyes flashed with a bloodthirsty luster. They dauntlessly rushed to the shields of the 7 evil spirits and surrounded them layer by layer. The 7 evil spirits didn't have the opportunity to attack the Devil Eater bees. They focused on controlling the sky halberd, and their eyes were full of disbelief. They didn't expect this strange man's attack power to soar again after using the strange Omni-Arm Divine ability. Although it was slightly weaker than the sky halberd they controlled, it was at least on the same level. It could barely withstand their combined nascent soul stage attacks. Earth Fiends sensed the increasing number of Devil Eater bees outside the nascent soul stage barrier, and said with a trembling voice, "Boss, the Devil Eater bees are still devouring magic power. The nascent soul stage defensive barrier can't stop them. If this continues, we'll be in danger." Hunsha clenched his fist tightly and looked at Lu Kuan, who was clashing with the sky halberd not far away. His eyes were filled with fear, and he gritted his teeth. Now that things have come to this, we can only use our final trump card. When the others heard this, they were shocked. Are we really going to use that move? Boss, that's what we prepare to deal with the blood-refining sect guy. If we use it now, we won't be able to catch them off guard in the future. Boss, this guy must have used a secret technique to overdraw his magic power. He won't be able to last for long. We might still be able to fight him. Hunsha said with hatred, "Shut up, all of you. Activating the power of the nascent soul has caused our magic power to be depleted very quickly. Moreover, the Devil Eater bees are also devouring our magic power. This monster has been fighting until now, and he doesn't seem to be tired at all. If we continue to fight, we'll definitely be doomed." The others looked outside, and they saw the terrifying man who was excitedly clashing with a nascent soul stage attack and the hundreds of thousands of Devil Eater bees around him. They all fell silent. A spiritual light flashed in Hun Sha's hand, and a jade bottle appeared. He tossed out gray pills in front of everyone. There's no time. While we still have magic power left, take the fiendish devil pill immediately and activate the advanced secret technique of the 7 Fiend True Devil Technique. If we consume any more magic power, we won't be able to use this trump card anymore. Yes, senior brother. The 7 fiends swallowed the gray pills and immediately chanted. The magic power that was connected to their bodies returned to their bodies, and a mysterious fluctuation spread out. At this moment, the power of their shields was greatly reduced, and the halberd in the distance was also trembling. It was being suppressed by Lu Kuan, and it seemed to have lost the continuous supply of nascent soul magic power. But at this moment, the magic power in the 7 fiends' bodies increased at an astonishing speed. The magic power that was originally at the peak of the mid-core formation stage directly entered the late-core formation stage without any bottlenecks. The 7 Fiends trump card was actually a method that could allow them to enter the late-core formation stage at any time. When they were at the mid-core formation stage, they could use the secret technique to possess the attack power of an early core formation stage cultivator. When they entered the late core formation stage, their combined power naturally increased greatly. After they completed their advancement in an instant, a surge of devil chi gushed out from their bodies. They once again cast the secret technique, and their devil chi joined together. An incomparably strong, nascent soul stage devil chi reappeared on their shields. The heavenly halberd in the distance shone with a gray light, and a shocking aura soared into the sky. With a simple slash, it sent Lu Kuan and his heaven hammer flying. The power of this attack reached an unimaginable height. Even with Lu Kuan's 450,000 kilograms of strength, he was unable to block it. Moreover, Lu Kuan's Omniarm divine ability seemed to be affected by something. As he tumbled, he returned to his original state. Blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth, and he slammed heavily into a golden demon tree hundreds of feet away. The heavenly halberd's attack was actually so terrifying. Earth Fiend looked relieved and said, "Boss, should we take the opportunity to kill him?" Just as Hun Sha was about to say something, he saw Lu Kuan in the distance shake his head and fly back into the air. He said bitterly, "This fellow's defense is so terrifying that it makes one's hair stand up." The 7 of us forcefully broke through when our magic power was insufficient. We can't fight for a long time, or else there will be hidden dangers. We should retreat immediately and find a place to circulate our cultivation techniques. After the heavenly halberd made this attack, it split into 7 magic treasures and returned to the 7 fiends' bodies. Chapter 753. Lu Kuan floated in the air. First, he looked at the 7 evil spirits in the distance. Then, he looked at his slightly trembling hands. He seemed to have understood something. No wonder only nascent soul cultivators can be called big sex in the cultivation world. Just the nascent soul power of the 7 evil spirits is so terrifying. Lu Kuan landed on the ground and put away the heaven hammer. He also withdrew his magic power into the depths of his bones. After the surrounding devouring devil bees couldn't sense his aura, they circled for a while and then scattered. Lu Kuan slowly walked towards the hive. At the same time, he thought about the battle just now. At first, with the heaven hammer's isolation, the nascent soul power couldn't affect me. But after activating the connecting arm power, I can barely contend with it with 450,000 kilograms of brute force. If that's the case, the attack power of an early nascent soul stage magic weapon is about the same as 250,000 kilograms of brute force. If it wasn't for the influence of the nascent soul power, I could have resisted it. Thinking of this, Lu Kuan frowned again. He recalled the last attack that sent him flying not long ago. The 7 evil spirits are all at the peak of the middle core formation stage. Obviously, they want to make the other sects lower their guard so that they can advance to the late core formation stage at the critical moment and burst out with unexpected combat power. Lu Kuan slowly circulated the abundant blood essence in his body to the bones in his arms, repairing some of the damaged bone treasures. After the 7 evil spirits entered the late core formation stage, the attack power of the Sky Piercer didn't seem to increase much, but the nascent soul power inside it increased dramatically. That high-level magic power was actually able to enter my arm through the Heaven Hammer. It immediately consumed the magic power in my arm and forced the connecting arm power to return to normal. If I hadn't entered the middle bone treasure stage and the hardness of my bones increased dramatically, my arm would have been broken. In this battle, although Lu Kuan had the help of the devouring devil bees, he still couldn't kill the 7 evil spirits. However, his harvest was not small. In addition to the bottle of pure, true demon water, the most important thing was understanding the power of the nascent soul stage. According to his analysis, the magical power of the nascent soul stage was a completely higher level of energy. There was a huge gap between it and the core formation stage. Lu Kuan combined it with Neo Sengoku's extreme, true devil art and determined that there was a unique core energy within the nascent soul stage energy. It was this energy that allowed it to completely suppress low-level energy. In the extreme, true devil art, this was called the extreme power. Other cultivation methods might have different names, but Lu Kuan simply called it the nascent soul power. After he used the power of linking arms, his attack power was only slightly weaker than that of an early nascent soul stage cultivator. However, with the power of the nascent soul, the mana in his body lost its effectiveness. Without the support of mana, not only was Lu Kuan unable to use the all-arms divine ability, the defensive power of the bone treasure was also completely suppressed. He had just entered the middle stage of the bone treasure, and the bone treasure had just been formed. Without the support of mana, it was easy to fight against the magic weapon of the core formation stage. However, if it was to fight against the magic weapon of the nascent soul stage, the material of the bone treasure itself was far from enough. Lu Kuan murmured, "I don't know if I can fight against the power of the nascent soul stage after entering the late stage of the bone treasure." While thinking, he had already walked to the entrance of the beehive cave and directly jumped down. Hundreds of miles away, in an underground cave on the other side of the devouring devil swamp, the 7 evil spirits formed a circular square formation. Their palms were pressed against each other and magical power flowed within each other's bodies. The magical power of each person exuded a different aura. In addition to the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, the aura of the soul evil spirit and the blood evil spirit were slightly different. One exuded a very strong spiritual fluctuation, the other was full of a strong bloody smell. Everyone's magical power level hovered between the peak of the middle stage of the core formation stage and the later stage of the core formation stage. Just like that, the 7 of them circulated their techniques for a full day and night. Their magical power aura finally stabilized at the late stage of the core formation stage. The 7 evil spirits opened their eyes one by one and exhaled heavily. The earth evil spirit's face was filled with joy. He said to the soul evil spirit, "Boss, you have the foresight. If we did not retreat in time, I'm afraid we would have fallen from the late stage of the core formation stage. That would have been a great loss." The soul evil spirit slowly said, "You all know that when the 7 evil true devil technique advances, the 7 of us need to circulate the technique together. Through the combination of the 7 evils, we can lower the bottleneck of the breakthrough." Our magical power was not at its peak earlier. We used the evil spirit pill's medicinal effect to barely break through. Naturally, we have to use the 7 evil true devil technique to stabilize our cultivation. The soul evil spirit then sighed and said, "This time, we lost the pure, true demonic water from the devouring devil swamp. I'm afraid it will be difficult to explain when we return. If not for the devouring devil bees, we could have fought with that person." When the other 7 evil spirits heard this, they recalled the battle that happened in the swarm of devouring devil bees. They all had lingering fears and could not help but ask, "Boss, do you know where that guy came from?" From what I remember, there doesn't seem to be such a core formation cultivator that entered the mystic realm. "That's right, boss. This monster's divine powers are all in his physical body. Not only did he fight against our Dharma treasures with his bare hands, but he also wielded that black hammer. Coupled with his strange giant arm divine power, he was actually able to match a nascent soul stage attack. He's simply a freak. When the soul evil spirit heard what the others said, a thought suddenly flashed through his mind. He muttered, could it be that this guy is a demonic zombie? But there's still a huge difference between him and a demonic zombie. Demonic zombie? What's that? The other 7 evil spirits immediately asked. Soul Evil revealed a look of reminiscence and said, I once heard Martial Uncle Soul Evil Spirit mention that 300 years ago, the 7 evil spirits of their generation accidentally opened a certain cave restriction in the Yuan mystic realm. A top-notch bronze-armored corpse emerged from within. It was only a step away from becoming a silver-armored corpse. However, this bronze-armored corpse did not have the power of Een. Instead, it was filled with an energy that seemed to be demonic power. The body that emitted the stench of corpses was covered in purplish-black scales. Martial Uncle and the others called it a demonic zombie. This demonic zombie's defense was extremely terrifying. It could withstand a nascent soul stage attack from the 7 evil spirits with its physical body alone. Its speed was as fast as lightning, and its physical strength was equally powerful. Coupled with its sharp claws that were comparable to a mature Dharma treasure, it killed the 7 evil spirits of Martial Uncle's generation in the narrow cave until they were drenched in cold sweat. Martial Uncle said that if the demonic zombie had not lost its mind at the critical moment, some of the 7 evil spirits would have perished. In the end, Martial Uncle and the others used all their trump cards and increased the power of the evil spirit in their secret technique to the peak of the early stage nascent soul stage before they managed to chase the demonic zombie away. After the soul evil spirit heard that, he muttered, no wonder you thought of the demonic zombie. The battle between Martial Uncle and the others and the demonic zombie was so similar to our battle just now. However, there are still many differences. The others chimed in as well. The soul evil spirit is right. Boss, the demonic zombie you mentioned had purplish-black scales on its body and was filled with a corpse aura. However, that freak just now was completely human. If I'm not wrong, the Dharma power in his body is pure, and it's lightning-type Dharma power. This kind of energy is completely at odds with the demonic zombie. Also, the guy did not use any sharp claws. The black sledgehammer he used at the end was clearly a psychic Dharma treasure. Han Sha shook his head helplessly and said, that's why I only said it was similar. However, if this guy is a human cultivator, then the cultivation method he cultivates is too terrifying. His tone was somewhat unnatural. He fought against the 7 evil spirits with his mid-stage Dharma power. In the end, he forced us to advance to the late-stage core formation stage and used a secret technique to activate the power of the early-stage nascent soul stage evil spirit to repel him. Chapter 754. Somewhere in the middle of the second layer of the secret realm was a vast plain. Large amounts of unknown black weeds grew on the plain. These weeds were several feet tall and swayed with the wind. Strange growls of wild beasts could be heard from the dense weeds. In addition, there were many fissures in the ground. They were more than 3 feet wide and hundreds of feet long. They seemed bottomless, and dense demonic chi surged out from them. Above these fissures floated all kinds of restrictions that flickered with spiritual light. A frightening aura spread out in all directions. The fissures surging with demonic chi, all kinds of strange restrictions, and the black weeds and ferocious beasts on the plain formed the famous nightmare plane of the Yuan secret realm. It was called the nightmare plane because of the black weeds that grew everywhere. These weeds were called nightmare grass. Nightmare grass had a certain hallucinogenic effect. When 7 or 8 of them were placed together, they could cause ordinary mortals to fall into illusions. If tens of thousands of them were placed together, even cultivators with powerful spiritual senses would fall for it. However, it didn't seem to work on demonic beasts. However, the nightmare grass hallucinogenic range was only 300 feet. Beyond that, it had no effect. Therefore, demonic cultivators who entered the nightmare plane could safely cross the plane as long as they flew in the air. Due to the earth-shattering phenomena in the secret realm, the ground of the plane had been torn apart and large amounts of restrictions surged into the air. Compared to before, it was more troublesome to cross the plane. On this day, two demonic cultivators were flying rapidly in the air above the nightmare plane. One of them was a tall old man with gray hair and a beard. He wore an ordinary linen robe. Demonic energy surged in his body. He was at the peak of the core formation realm. As for the other person, she wore a pink dress and had a beautiful face. She was a charming young woman. Her aura was similar to that of the old man beside her. She was also at the peak of the core formation realm. As the young woman flew, she glanced at the old man beside her. Suddenly, she said, "I didn't expect the miraculous gate to send fellow Taoist Song. I thought it would be fellow Taoist Li Wan from your sect." The old man said indifferently, "I didn't expect Madame Ko to know so much about her sect. You even know junior sister Li's name." The young woman called Madame Ko covered her mouth and chuckled. "It's mainly because fellow Taoist Song and fellow Taoist Li Wan are too famous. I heard that fellow Taoist Li Wan was in the late core formation realm. She disguised herself as a Qi condensation disciple and infiltrated the Yang clan with nascent soul cultivators. She helped the miraculous gate to take down the Yang clan. Fellow Taoist Song is even more remarkable. Ever since he was in the foundation establishment stage, he hid himself in the Shangqing school and practiced cultivation until late core formation. In the end, he worked with the Devil Spirit sect to drive the Shangqing school out of the state of Wei. Madame Ko chuckled. The Supreme Devil Palace and the Miraculous Gate are both allies of the blood-refining sect. What's the harm in getting to know each other? Are you angry? The old man snorted. The Miraculous Gate is different from the Supreme Devil Palace. We are indeed allies of the blood-refining sect, but the Supreme Devil Palace is a subordinate sect of the blood-refining sect. Madame Ko's eyes narrowed when she heard this. Fellow Taoist Song, you can't say such things so carelessly. My Supreme Devil Palace may not be as powerful as your Devil Spirit sect, but we still have a nascent soul stage ancestor. Our sect is located in the northern Barren State, next to the southern and western states of the Qi Kingdom. We are allied with the blood-refining sect to deal with the scattered demonic sects in the western state. The old man's lips curled. Madame Ko is right. But I've heard that one of the core techniques of the blood-refining sect is called the Dark Underworld Extreme Demonic Art. Although it can't be compared to the Blood Demon Art, it is still far superior to ordinary demonic arts. I wonder if it has anything to do with your sect's Supreme Devil Scripture. Madame Ko's expression changed slightly. Old Man Song continued. This time, the blood-refining sect sent a core formation stage expert, the famous Extreme Devil Old Ghost. This guy's Extreme Devil True Body is very similar to your sect's Extreme Devil Scripture's secret technique. Both of them release their stored demonic essence in one go, resulting in an explosive increase in cultivation. Madame Ko couldn't help but ask, "You know about the Dark Underworld Extreme Demonic Art?" The old man didn't answer. Instead, he shook his head. "Unfortunately, you don't have a method to refine and control the Dark Underworld Extreme Demonic Art. Therefore, you can't use the Dark Underworld Extreme Demonic Art. The Supreme Devil Palace cultivates the incomplete techniques of the blood-refining sect. Anyone with some knowledge would understand the relationship between the two sections." Madame Ko's expression didn't look too good. She continued, "Although the Miraculous Gate is an ally of the blood-refining sect, you still paid a hefty price to purchase the Yuan Jade pendant from the blood-refining sect. Then, you asked our contact in the Rogue Cultivator Alliance to help you sneak into the hidden territory. As for the Supreme Devil Palace, we don't have to pay the blood-refining sect every time we enter the hidden territory." The old man sighed. Madame Ko, you are also at the peak of the core formation realm. I'm sure you know how difficult it is to break through to the nascent soul realm. If there's a chance for the sect to have another nascent soul realm cultivator, we'll pay an even greater price. Madame Ko fell silent. She had been at the peak of the core formation realm for more than 100 years. Of course, she knew how difficult it was to break through the bottleneck of the nascent soul realm. She had spent a lot of effort to fight for the only spot in the Supreme Devil Palace, all for the chance to obtain the water of the pure, true demonic. With the water of the pure, true demonic, her chances of breaking through to the nascent soul realm would greatly increase. Otherwise, with her talent and techniques, she would most likely fail. A core formation cultivator breaking through to the nascent soul realm had to go through the process of breaking their core. If they failed, the only outcome was death. Madame Ko looked at the bracelet on her right wrist. She revealed a look of desire. Fellow Taoist Song, there's no point in talking too much. Let's hurry. Fellow Taoists from the blood refining sect have asked us to meet up with them. They need our help with something. The water of the pure, true demonic is the reward. Old Man Song also looked at his wrist. This was the magic tool used by the blood refining sect to communicate with them. He knew Madame Ko was telling the truth. However, he didn't reveal any joy. Instead, he frowned slightly. If the blood refining sect was willing to use the water of the pure, true demonic as a reward, it wouldn't be easy. Moreover, Old Man Song felt somewhat uneasy after entering the secret realm. It was as if a disaster was about to befall them. While he was deep in thought, Madame Ko's flying light came to a sudden stop. There are battle fluctuations ahead. Someone is fighting a 7th grade, iron-winged, demonic eagle. Old Man Song also extended his spiritual sense into the distance. He immediately saw a gray demonic eagle with a wingspan of over 30 meters. At this moment, the 7th grade demonic eagle was crying out in pain. Its body was constantly tumbling in the air. On its back stood a burly bald man. He was holding onto the demonic eagle's feathers with one hand while his other hand was clenched into a fist. He was constantly hammering the demonic eagle's back. He seemed to be able to suppress this 7th grade demonic eagle with his physical strength alone. Chapter 755. Just as Old Man Song was lost in thought, the battle in the distance changed again. Realizing that it couldn't shake off the bald man on its back, the iron-winged demonic eagle immediately let out a frantic and unyielding cry. It flapped its wings fiercely, and its huge body fell straight down to the nightmare plane below. At the same time, more than half of the gray feathers on its wings fell off and rushed toward the bald man on its back. The feathers, which were comparable to blades, quickly wrapped around the man's burly body. The bald man didn't seem to have expected this move and was firmly restrained by the feathers, but he still stuck to the back of the eagle. After a few breaths, the iron-winged demonic eagle turned around and slammed its back on the ground of the nightmare plane. With a loud bang, a large amount of gray feathers and fragments of nightmare grass scattered in all directions. The bald man seemed to have been knocked off the back of the iron-winged demonic eagle. At this moment, the eagle's demonic power suddenly erupted from its body. Its scar body with sparse feathers turned into a streak of black light and rapidly shot into the distance. Old Man Song and Madame Ko saw it clearly with their spiritual sense. The iron-winged demonic eagle sacrificed a large amount of gray feathers to throw the bald man off its back. However, the level 7 demonic eagle didn't have any intention of continuing the fight. It seemed to have overdrawn its demonic power and escaped at an astonishing speed. A trace of hesitation flashed in Madame Ko's eyes. Fellow Taoist Song, should we go and take a look? The iron-winged demonic eagle's iron feathers are sharp. Even if they aren't as sharp as blades, they aren't too far off. With so many iron feathers and a nightmare grass on the ground, that guy might be seriously injured and trapped in an illusion. This is a good opportunity to pick up scraps. Old Man Song was still searching for memories related to this bald man. When he heard Madame Ko's words, he shook his head and said, "Madame Ko, you are too greedy. If we could pick up scraps, why would the iron-winged demonic eagle flee in such a hurry? Obviously, this man's strength is strong enough to scare the level 7 demonic eagle. It's very risky for us to rashly go there." After saying that, Old Man Song glanced at the bracelet on his right wrist. After confirming the direction, he continued to fly. Madame Ko's eyes flickered. She could only sigh and follow Old Man Song. She was no fool. She knew that she was no match for someone who could crush a 7th-level demon eagle. Originally, she wanted to go with Old Man Song. At the very least, she would have the strength to fight. Moreover, she had a strange treasure in her hands that could resist the illusion power of the nightmare grass. However, she didn't expect Old Man Song to be so cautious and refuse her. The old man surnamed Song frowned as he flew. When he saw the bald man, he felt even more uneasy. At this moment, in the grass where the bald man landed in the distance, a bright purple light soared into the sky and shot straight toward the two of them. Not good. This guy has discovered us. The two of them glanced at each other. Then, as if by prior agreement, they linked their streaks of light together and sped off into the distance. This was a common flying technique used by core formation cultivators. When the two streaks of light merged, their speed would increase by 30%. With their great circle core formation demonic power cultivation, ordinary core formation cultivators wouldn't be able to catch up to them. However, when they scanned with their divine sense, they found that the purple streak of light behind them was much faster than them. The distance between them hadn't widened at all. Instead, it was rapidly closing in. What surprised them even more was that this purple streak of light didn't reveal demonic power, but rather magic power. Furthermore, it was only at the level of a mid-core formation cultivator. What kind of divine ability is this? How can it be so fast? How can there be someone who cultivates magic power in the hidden realm? For him to have such speed, could it be that he has a spiritual magic treasure with a speed divine ability? Old Man Song and Madame Ko had all kinds of guesses. They didn't show any signs of slowing down. Instead, they pushed the demonic power in their bodies to the limit. The magic power that this guy revealed made them even more wary. However, at this moment, the purple streak of light sped up again. Like a bolt of purple lightning, it was so fast that the two of them thought of a nascent soul cultivator. Fellow Taoist Song, this guy definitely has a flying treasure. If this continues, he'll catch up to us very soon. Why don't we see what he's up to? I don't believe that he'd dare to attack us two great circle core formation cultivators. Madame Ko transmitted her voice. All right, we'll do as you say. Old Man Song hesitated for a moment. However, when he thought of the spiritual magic treasure in his storage pouch, he nodded in agreement. The two of them retracted their streaks of light and hovered in midair. A black and white double-colored sail appeared in front of Old Man Song, blocking his path. An ancient aura emanated from the sail. Madame Ko took out a pitch-black jade scepter. A thick black curtain of light emanated from the scepter, enveloping her within. Just as the two of them finished their preparations, the purple streak of light arrived near them. The streak of light dissipated, revealing the burly figure of the bald man. It was Lu Kuan, who had passed through the devil-devouring swamp and arrived at the Nightmare Plains. He looked at Old Man Song and licked his lips. I didn't think that someone from the miraculous gate would enter the hidden realm. And it's you, old man. Old Man Song's heart skipped a beat. He carefully looked at Lu Kuan's face and said hesitantly, "Fellow Taoist, I don't think we've met before." Lu Kuan sneered. His face changed and returned to his original appearance. "Old man, you should know who I am now." Old Man Song's pupils contracted. He exclaimed, "Lu Kuan, impossible. You've entered the mid-stage core formation realm." Of course, he remembered Lu Kuan. If it weren't for Nie Wufeng's rescue, he would have killed Lu Kuan with his own hands. The reason why the miraculous gate didn't obtain the sentient puppet technique was because Lu Kuan and the others had taken away the Yang clan's artifact forging technique. Old Man Song heard more than 20 years ago that 3 of his core formation junior brothers had fallen in the process of pursuing Lu Kuan. Even Ling Yutong, who was at the peak of the mid-stage core formation realm, returned with heavy injuries. He also heard from Ling Yutong that Lu Kuan, who he once regarded as an ant, had entered the core formation realm. He even had many core formation realm helpers. However, he didn't hear any specific information from Ling Yutong. Old Man Song didn't expect that he would meet Lu Kuan again in the Yuan secret realm of the state of Qi. His cultivation had reached the mid-stage core formation realm. What was even more unimaginable was that Lu Kuan already had the terrifying battle prowess to suppress a 7th-grade demonic beast. Lu Kuan naturally didn't know what Old Man Song was thinking. He coldly said, "Old Man Song, 3 core formation realm cultivators from the Miraculous Gate have already died by my hands. You're the 4th. Prepare to die." As soon as his voice fell, Lu Kuan disappeared. Old Man Song's expression changed drastically. He poured his demonic chi into the black-white banner without any regard for his life. The magic artifact quickly wrapped around him. Soon after, he felt a heart-palpitating pressure and soaring blood chi. However, the attack he expected didn't come. "Fellow Taoist Lu, I have no quarrel with you." A panicked divine sense came from the side. Old Man Song's divine sense stirred. He discovered that Lu Kuan had appeared beside Madame Ko. His arms had expanded to twice their original size, and the ferocious veins on them were clearly visible. His massive fists slammed into the black barrier around Madame Ko's body. Following an explosion, the black barrier shattered inch by inch. The shockwave from the attack scattered in all directions, causing the surrounding clouds to explode. Even the old man, surnamed Song, felt an invisible pressure bearing down on him. In the instant that Madame Ko's barrier shattered, a pitch-black flying dagger shot out from her body and viciously stabbed towards Lu Kuan's forehead. It was as if she wanted to take him down with her. Lu Kuan didn't care about the flying daggers that were flying towards him. Instead, he punched out with his fists. Bang! A thick crimson light flashed. A dark red ball of blood appeared where Madame Ko had been. Within it was a slender figure with severed arms. Madame Ko dared to take Lu Kuan down with her by relying on some kind of tribulation substitution technique. She wanted to fight to the death. However, what she didn't expect was that after her flying dagger hit Lu Kuan's forehead, it only made a crisp sound. Apart from piercing Lu Kuan's scalp, it didn't hurt him at all. However, the power of the flying dagger still caused him to stagger. Madame Ko's eyes lit up. She saw this opportunity. The blood ball outside her body trembled and was about to shoot into the distance. All of a sudden, Lu Kuan's tightly clenched right fist suddenly opened. His index, middle, and ring fingers quickly flicked open. 3 yellow lights flew out from his fingertips and flashed in the air. They were mixed with a terrifying murderous aura. They easily pierced through the blood ball and sank into it. Madame Ko was in the middle of activating the blood escape technique. She was completely unprepared for the 3 yellow lights. Her skull was instantly shattered, and her aura rapidly weakened. Chapter 756. Lu Kuan casually shot out a thunderbolt and incinerated Madame Ko's body. He then collected the jade Rui scepter, the black flying dagger, and the storage pouches that had fallen from the sky. After that, he turned his head and looked to the side. Old Man Song's position was already empty, and 3 li away, there was a figure in a white cloak flying away. Obviously, Old Man Song had seen that the situation was bad and had taken the opportunity to escape, while Lu Kuan was busy killing Madame Ko. White smoke constantly flowed from Old Man Song's white cloak. Lu Kuan's consciousness sensed that the white smoke exuded a strange aura. It blended into the light and increased its speed, almost reaching the level of nascent soul. "You actually have a flying psychic artifact. Old man, do you think you can escape with this?" Lu Kuan snorted coldly. His arms twisted as he withdrew the connecting arm's divine ability. The lightning attribute magic power within his bones surged incessantly. For a moment, a purple light shone brightly. He turned into a bolt of lightning and chased after Old Man Song. His speed was even faster than Old Man Song's. Damn it, it's only been 100 years. How did his strength become so freakish? What kind of mystique is he cultivating? He can even kill a perfected core formation cultivator so easily. He's even more freakish than Yao Woofing back then. Song Li's teeth chattered as he frantically poured his demonic energy into the white cloak on his back. He originally thought that with Madame Ko's help, they might be able to fight. After all, the 2 of them could also defeat or even kill a peak level 7 Iron Winged Eagle. However, When Madame Ko's defensive psychic artifact was shattered by Lu Kuan's huge fist, he no longer had the slightest intention to fight. Instead, he took out the artifact that he had prepared in advance and fled. The terrifying pressure of the ferocious giant arm, coupled with Lu Kuan's explosive speed in the air, would have killed him if he had foolishly stayed in place. As for why Lu Kuan had attacked Madame Ko first, Song Li knew very well that it was to get rid of the other obstacles and prevent Madame Ko from helping him. Moreover, Madame Ko had overheard their conversation and knew that Lu Kuan hated him to the bone. She had let her guard down, and Lu Kuan had seized the opportunity to kill her. The cloak he was wearing was a psychic magic treasure bestowed upon him by his martial uncle, the Falling Cloud Cloak. As long as the devil chi in his body was sufficient, he could display a speed comparable to an early nascent soul stage cultivator. In this Yuan's secret realm, where only core formation cultivators could enter, it was more than enough to save his life. However, it seemed to be a bit slow when compared to Lu Kuan's speed. Song Li's expression was extremely ugly. He is only in the middle stage of the core formation stage. How can his speed be so terrifying? This fellow's body is flashing with a shocking treasure light. Clearly, he has a psychic magic treasure that also increases his speed. The Falling Cloud Cloak consumes a lot of devil chi, and this fellow's flying treasure is probably the same. The longer I waste, the more advantageous it is for me. I'm now flying towards the blood-refining sex fellow Taoists. I've also sent them a distress signal. However, Lu Kuan is much faster than me. I'm afraid he'll catch up to me before they arrive. I have to find a way to stall for time. Song Li immediately transmitted his voice to Lu Kuan, who was 3 miles away. Fellow Taoist Lu, I was only following orders back then. Why do you have to be so aggressive? Lu Kuan coldly replied, if it wasn't for Martial Uncle Nye, I would have died by your hands. Moreover, the deaths of Martial Uncle Linghu, Martial Uncle Nye, and Martial Uncle Zhu of the Weapon Refining Peak are all related to you. If I don't kill you, how can I face these elders? As he spoke, the purple treasure light in Lu Kuan's body became even more dazzling, and his speed increased by a bit. Song Li's divine sense roared, fellow Taoist Lu, Nye Wufeng isn't dead. Zhu Siming of the Weapon Refining Peak might also be alive. What did you say? Lu Kuan's pupils suddenly shrank. His late core formation stage divine sense was extremely agitated. He couldn't wait to capture Song Li alive and interrogate him. Song Li hurriedly said, as long as fellow Taoist Lu lets me go, I will tell you everything I know about Nye Wufeng. Hearing this, Lu Kuan's expression calmed down. He also slowed down a lot. He said in a deep voice, what do you know? Speak quickly. Otherwise, I'd rather use the power of my gold core to immediately imprison your divine soul. When Song Li sensed that Lu Kuan had slowed down, his heart relaxed. However, when he heard the latter part of his sentence, he became incomparably nervous. He was already traveling at this speed. If he used the power of his gold core, wouldn't he be able to catch up to him immediately? Therefore, he hurriedly replied, fellow Taoist Lu, during the battle of the Yang clan, we were all filled with admiration for Nye Wufeng and Zhu Siming. Even when faced with so many core formation stage cultivators, they didn't panic in the face of danger. They used some kind of secret technique that caused the power of their divine sense to explosively increase and unleashed a terrifying high-level wind attribute magic technique. That high-level magic technique was completely close to the power of a nascent soul stage cultivator. After killing a few of our early core formation stage junior brothers, it also broke through the Great Forbidden Formation. When Lu Kuan heard this, he immediately understood that Song Li's words weren't false. Nye Wufeng and Zhu Siming should have used the Divine Senses fusion secret technique of the Divine Senses technique. As for the high-level spell that Song Li mentioned, it was very likely to be the Whirlwind spell. However, he had never heard Qin Yushu mention that it could increase the power of the Whirlwind spell when one's divine sense was greatly enhanced. And then, my martial uncle Nye and martial uncle Zhu successfully escaped. Song Li sensed that Lu Kuan's speed was increasing again. He continued, fellow Taoist Lu, don't be anxious. I haven't finished yet. Hurry up and speak. Songli glanced at the jade bracelet on his wrist and continued. Originally, with the divine senses escape technique that Niao Wufeng and Zhu Siming used, even an early nascent soul stage cultivator wouldn't be able to capture them. Unfortunately, when they flew out of the Great Forbidden Formation, they encountered Old Devil Pang. Lu Kuan's pupils suddenly shrank. He said with some disbelief, Old Devil Pang, are you talking about the blood-refining sex? That's right. It was the late nascent soul stage cultivator of the blood-refining sect, the famous Old Devil Pang in the state of Qi. Songli recalled the scene at that time, and a trace of fear flashed through his eyes. The power of a late nascent soul stage cultivator is truly terrifying. Old Devil Pang used his divine senses and easily captured Niao Wufeng and Zhu Siming alive into a jade bottle magic tool. Lu Kuan immediately caught the main point and asked, are you sure he captured them alive? Could it be that Old Devil Pang wanted to search their souls and obtain the Yang clan's tool, refining technique from the two martial uncles? Nascent soul stage cultivators had powerful divine senses and could use a high-level magic tool like the soul-searching technique. Therefore, if a nascent soul stage cultivator wanted to know the secrets of a lower-level cultivator, he only needed to search their souls. I don't know. However, at that time, Old Devil Pang seemed to be talking to himself. He said that he needed a cultivator with wind spirit root to help him cultivate some kind of divine sense. It should be Niao Wufeng who was alive that was useful to him. Lu Kuan narrowed his eyes. Whether Niao Wufeng and Zhu Siming were really alive or not, he would have to wait until the secret realm was over before investigating the blood-refining sect. However, this old man in front of him must die. Thinking of this, Lu Kuan urged the remaining magic power in his body to increase his speed. Songli naturally noticed this. However, he laughed wildly and said, I knew you wouldn't let me go. Unfortunately, Lu Kuan, I said so much just to buy time. The fellow Taoists of the blood-refining sect have already come to my rescue. No matter how powerful you are, you won't be a match for them. Chapter 757. Lu Kuan had the spiritual sense of a late core formation cultivator. Because he cultivated the soul-sensing art, his spiritual sense was very refined. He could clearly see the 5 blood-refining sect cultivators from dozens of miles away and found that he was quite familiar with 3 of them. One of them was a handsome young man with a late core formation cultivation base. He was Rong Zhengqi, who oversaw the entrance hall of the blood-refining sect. Lu Kuan's Oathstone restriction and the Blood Devil's reward were all arranged by him. It was said that he was the disciple of Elder Qian. The other 2 were easy to recognize. The fat middle-aged man was naturally Fei Mo, and the withered old man was Supreme Mo. Like Rong Zhengqi, Supreme Mo was a late core formation cultivator, while Fei Mo was at the peak of the mid-core formation stage. As for the other 2 men, Lu Kuan heard from other Foundation establishment disciples on the way that the horse-faced man was a late core formation cultivator called Chun Hao. He cultivated the true Devil Imperial Thunder art. The last elegant man was called Han Qingsheng. It was said that he had a wind spirit root aptitude, and the demonic art he cultivated was also one of the top cultivation methods in the sect. Just as Lu Kuan was sizing up these people with his spiritual sense, Rong Zhengqi's face sank. The demonic light in his hand surged, and an obscure fluctuation covered their escape light. Lu Kuan could only see a bunch of blurry figures. Lu Kuan raised his eyebrows. Although the Blood Devil didn't come, these guys are not simple. In a one-on-one fight, the 7 Fiend sect cultivators are definitely not their opponents. Moreover, Supreme Mo and the others most likely have a trump card. If this old man meets up with them, it will be troublesome. Lu Kuan didn't want to fight with the blood-refining sect just yet. When he was at Ouyang Castle, he secretly used his golden eye to see clearly that the Treasure Supreme, Mo, took out could summon Old Devil Pang's avatar. He immediately felt that the blood-refining sect was unfathomable. It must be known that the 7 Fiend sect cultivators could only barely use the power of a nascent soul cultivator after the 7 of them joined forces to use a secret technique. It was obvious that a secret technique forcibly used was far inferior to a nascent soul cultivator's avatar. What Lu Kuan was now afraid of was the nascent soul stage methods of these top devil sections. Using the bone treasure at full power, its flying speed is extremely fast, but it consumes a lot of FALE. When I catch up to that old man, I only have about half of my FALE left. Looks like I have to use that move. A thought flashed through Lu Kuan's mind. The blood and qi in his body began to surge, and a thick blood essence was transmitted to the bone treasures in his body. In addition to the purple treasure light, his body was also wrapped in a layer of blood-red halo. After spending so many years in the blood-refining sect, Lu Kuan had not only cultivated the blood demon art, but he had also used his authority as the blood demon to obtain the complete blood escape art from the scripture cave. He activated the bone treasure with all his strength. His speed had already reached the early nascent soul stage. With the addition of the blood escape art, his speed increased by another 50%. A sonic boom exploded in the sky. The clouds in the sky surged in all directions, forming invisible ripples. In the sky above the nightmare plane, it was as if an incredible blood-red lightning had appeared. Even the air was squeezed out, and the distance between Song Li and him was suddenly shortened by half. After Song Li sensed it, he was suddenly scared out of his wits. Without saying a word, he directly erupted with the power of his golden core and poured even more FALE into the Luoyin cloak. Unfortunately, Song Li's golden core power was only at the golden core stage. Apart from increasing his speed by 10% to 20%, there was no substantial change. Lu Kuan's blood-red escape light was 50% faster than him. The 5 people from the blood-refining sect in the distance were also shocked by Lu Kuan's speed. A dark green ball of light appeared in Han Qingxing's hand. He spat out a mouthful of blood essence into the ball of light. Then, the dark green spirit light wrapped around the 5 people. Boom! The speed of the 5 people from the blood-refining sect increased greatly. Although they were still a bit slower than Song Li and Lu Kuan, they were close to the speed of a nascent soul stage cultivator. Moreover, they were moving in opposite directions to Song Li, so both sides were rapidly closing in. Unfortunately, the 5 people from the blood-refining sect were still quite a distance away. Lu Kuan and Song Li were only about 2 miles apart. In just a few breaths of time, Song Li was caught up. At this time, Lu Kuan's appearance had changed greatly. His eyes were red and exuded a cruel gaze. His arms were more than twice as thick, and there was black hair on them that could be seen with the naked eye. They looked exactly like the arms of a chimpanzee. In order to ensure a one-hit kill, Lu Kuan directly urged the blood demon crystal in his body and used the demon arm's divine ability. His hairy hands tightly held a pitch-black sledgehammer that was densely covered in strange runes. There was also a layer of black halo around the sledgehammer. The terrifying speed combined with the force of impact, the Heaven Hammer's ability activated by the demon arm, and Lu Kuan's current strength of 450,000 kilograms combined to form a monstrous and terrifying attack. The extreme devil and the others, who were still 5 miles away, subconsciously stopped and looked at the scene in front of them with horror. Song Li, who was about to be hit, was so frightened that he almost shattered his teeth. The black and white flag in his body flashed and wrapped around his body. It flashed with a black and white spirit light. But when Song Li condensed the demonic energy in his body and wanted to use a divine ability, he immediately felt a cruel intent invade his divine sense, causing him to stop. Boom! Lu Kuan swung the Heaven Hammer and collided with Song Li. The clouds that were floating in the air instantly froze and then evaporated into thin air. The surrounding air was strongly compressed, and the shock waves from this terrifying attack spread in all directions. Soon, it reached the extreme devil and the others, causing their protective light to tremble. Their faces were pale. The shock waves from this far away were already so powerful. Perhaps only a nascent soul cultivator could unleash such a terrifying attack. Needless to say, Song Li's soul had already been destroyed. After Lu Kuan killed Song Li, his arms recovered, and he put away Song Li's magic treasures. He looked at the extreme devil and the others and felt the lack of spiritual power in his body. He turned into a ray of light and shot into the distance. The fat on Fei Mo's body trembled. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and said, King Song Li. What kind of freak did he provoke? If that attack had landed on our heads, I'm afraid it would have pointed to disaster. The extreme devil's skinny face was also full of fear. It was definitely an attack from a nascent soul cultivator. Only a nascent soul cultivator at the beginning stage can unleash such power. And the blood-red light that this guy unleashed was even faster than a nascent soul cultivator at the beginning stage. It felt like the blood escape technique. Fei Mo gulped. Could it be that a nascent soul cultivator sneaked into the hidden territory? Rong Jingqi looked at the disappearing purple light and shook his head. It shouldn't be a nascent soul cultivator. This guy's speed aside, his attack just now was completely different from a normal cultivator's. He held a black hammer in his hand, and his arms were covered in black hair. He looked like a half-human, half-beast monster. More importantly, he emitted a chi of the intermediate stage of the completion course stage. His expression was serious. I think you all sensed it clearly. There was no nascent soul cultivator in the attack just now. The extreme devil seemed to have thought of something. He said hesitantly, his chi wasn't high. There was no nascent soul cultivator, but he unleashed a nascent soul cultivator's attack. Could it be? A trace of fear flashed in the depths of Rong Zhengqi's pupils. That's right, it's an attack that erupted from pure physical strength. Such a method is very similar to that of the demon generals of the ancient times. Furthermore, in that attack just now, in addition to the monstrous demonic might, there was also a brutal will. It felt a little like the will of the true demon. Everyone else nodded, apparently having sensed this as well. So, this person is actually a demon? Chen Hao suddenly opened his mouth. If I'm not wrong, this person has a lot of thunder elemental treasures in his body. It could be a complete set of thunder elemental treasures. Based on this, he definitely cultivates a pure thunder elemental technique. This kind of technique is not something a demon can cultivate. Rong Zhengqi mumbled. Chen Hao cultivates the true demon technique of thunder. Of course, he wouldn't be wrong. Then, is this person a demon or a human? The extreme devil's expression was complicated. No matter what, we should hurry back and report this to Senior Ma. If this person appears in the Valley of Chaos, we can be prepared. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.